difficulty.
Will her broken heart be enough?
I took care of my dog. Like, I had an Instagram account for him. Like, I loved my dog. That was my child, you know.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
23-year-old Jenna Khaleesi is suing her ex-boyfriend, Michael Trayers, for the return of her dog and for falsely accusing her of assault.
Order. All rise. Now, it's case number 265 on the calendar in the matter of Khaleesi versus Trayers.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
That is the adorable Nugget.
It is, yes.
I've read the complaint and your answer. Why don't you put Nugget down? He would like to say hello to Miss Khaleesi, I think. Probably hasn't seen her for a bit.
It's been like a month or so.
Month or so. Okay. Good.
Okay, come on, buddy.
Okay. Is Nugget friendly?
Yes.
Yeah, he was actually going to just go visit you, I think.
Okay. Very good. All right, this is what the case is about. You two were a couple, and you're no longer a couple to who owns the dog. Now, Miss Khaleesi, when you and Mr. Trayers were a couple, on what date did you start living together?
We unofficially were living together in his Lawrence apartment in May of 2015.
What does that mean?
Well, we started dating in April of 2015.
April? Just a second. Let's go very slowly. April 2015, you started dating.
Yes.
Were you living in your own apartment?
Yes.
Any roommates?
Yes.
How many?
I had 2 roommates.
And you had a lease?
Yes.
And when did your lease expire on that apartment?
The lease had actually just started.
So you had a new lease in April with roommates.
It was probably a few months before that.
And you moved in at some point with Mr. Trayers?
Yes.
Just a second. I asked the question. You moved in at some point with Mr. Trayers into his apartment?
Yes.
What date?
I don't have an actual date. The roommate situation that I was having in my apartment wasn't that great. So me and Mike.
Just a second. When was the last month you paid rent in that apartment that you had with roommates?
Probably March of 2015.
So you mean you lived there March and April without paying rent?
No. I had the apartment before I met Mike.
I understand what you're saying. You were living with roommates.
Yes.
That lease with the roommates expired January.
Actually, I think it actually expired in...
I want you to try to compose yourself. You probably didn't think I was going to go here, but we're going to figure out certain things my way. And if you need other people, like your roommate, to help you, I'll place the call. When was the last month you paid rent on the apartment that you were living in with your roommates?
April of 2015.
And you moved in with Michael in May.
I started sleeping at his apartment like most nights, and then gradually just kind of like had more and more stuff at the house, at his apartment.
When did you move in with the defendant to his apartment? Give me the month.
The month that we moved into the apartment in Lowell was September 1st of 2015.
Where did you get your mail between May and September?
At my apartment in Lowell.
Where your roommates were?
Yes.
So that's where you were residing?
Yes.
In your apartment until September, when you moved in with the defendant?
Yes.
Great. Now, Mr. Trayers.
Yes, Your Honor.
When was Nugget purchased?
In June 18th, 2015.
And when Nugget was purchased, from June 18th until September 1st,
Yes.
where did Nugget spend the night?
Every single night since I have bought him has spent...
Spend the night at Miss Khaleesi's apartment with her roommates?
No, they weren't allowed to have animals there, actually.
That's
okay.
not true.
And you're shaking your head that that is not true. I need the name and phone number of your roommates.
Okay. I can.
Get it. So what you're telling me, Miss Khaleesi, is that you were allowed to have pets in the apartment where you were living with your roommates?
No.
Okay, then I don't need the name of your roommates.
I was paying for an apartment that I wasn't living in. So I was paying rent for an apartment, but in the months that we lived together, I very, very rarely would go there. So that is why I ultimately ended my lease with my roommates, because I was paying for an apartment that I wasn't at, because I spent every night at his house.
You just told me that you paid rent.
Yep, I paid rent until we came to an agreement. I paid out the amount. I paid about $2,000 to my roommate.
Miss Khaleesi, you are getting yourself in so much difficulty. because you're trying to figure out where I'm going, and you're not going to figure out where I'm going. So if you try to tailor your testimony to where you think it's going to help your case, what happens is I have a good memory. And you told me you stopped paying rent in April of 2015, and you moved in to an apartment together, a new apartment with the defendant, September 1st. Then I asked him about the dog in June, which means that July and August, you kept shaking your head when he said the dog always slept in my apartment. You shook your head no.
I also always slept in his apartment.
I didn't ask where you were sleeping. I asked where the dog was sleeping. Do you understand?
Yes.
Fine. Now, do you have the papers for the dog when you purchased the dog? I'd like to take a look at the papers.
This is the only physical paper that we were given at the time. It also went through a third party, which she's going to show you.
Just a second, I can read.
Okay.
So at the time, Mr. Trayers,
Yes.
you are named as a purchaser. You lived at 270.
Yes, Your Honor. And that's on the third party paperwork with my name as the leasee under 270. This is also the pet amendum for when we signed the lease.
May I see that, please?
Sure.
And then I have the contract here.
And this is when you moved into the new apartment?
Yes, Your Honor.
In September?
Yeah, it was September 15th, not the 1st.
Okay. What do you have there?
This is the contract that was signed when we purchased the dog. So it was through, so the Puppy Palace was the place that we got the dog at, but the dog was financed. So it was financed. So on that contract.
Okay, so this is a financing agreement. They call it a lessee name. The lessee name is Michael Trayers, and the co-lessee name is...
Nobody, but my signature is on every page.
Is nobody.
Yeah,
Okay, so
no
you're paying
co-lessee.
this puppy out.
Apologize.
Puppy was $1,500. Did you pay $1,500 on that date?
No, since
The
it was
answer is no.
I paid
So-
$125
So
in
you're
cash.
paying the puppy off in certain installments.
Correct, yes.
Okay, great. Starting on what date?
So when we got the dog, because all my credit cards are tied up into all my bills, I pay for all my rent.
Whatever, I don't care.
Okay, I'm just saying. So I asked Jenna if she could put her credit card down.
So they ran my credit.
Just fine.
So she put her
Fine.
card down and signed it. That's why her signature
I
is on
got
the
it.
paper.
I
So I
got
was
it.
giving her cash every month until September when we moved in together. Our
That's all.
agreement was...
Just a second.
I've proved too. Our agreement was in September that she would pay the two smallest bills because she's in college and I didn't want her to have a big strain. So I paid all the rent, all the food.
Okay, you paid
Every
that's
single
what
dog
you
bill.
Shh, listen to me. So you paid the major expenses.
Yes.
And it was your agreement that Miss Khaleesi pay the pet bill and, according to you, a utility bill,
The cable bill.
cable
Utility and cable and food. But he also
Okay.
wasn't paying rent. His mom was.
bill. Okay.
Because he wasn't working.
I'm talking now about the dog. What I have is June 18th, the puppy was purchased. The puppy lived with the defendant until September 1st when you moved in together. And the puppy stayed at his house until you moved into a new premises on September 1st. Now what I want to see is not your payments, because he acknowledges that you made payments September 1st, whatever reason he gives for the fact that you made the payments starting September 1st until the day that you finally separated. Now, you separated once in April and then got back together briefly in May, according to you. On what date did you finally separate
June 1st was the official day that I moved out
of this year?
of 2016, yes.
Now, after June 1st of 2016, did you make any payments for the dog? After June 1st?
I made the last payment that was made was June 20th of 2016. I have the printout off
Okay,
of the
so
financing.
you didn't pay July, August, September, or October?
No.
Okay, so for the last 4 months, you didn't pay for the dog?
I did not. I was in constant contact with the financing company because they kept informing me that payments were not being made. Mike was not making
Listen to
payments.
me. You can't tell me what the finance company said to you. That's hearsay. All I want to know is you did not make payments on the dog for those 4 months, and the dog was with the defendant.
Yes.
So from September 1st until June 20th,
June 20th.
the payments were made by you. You don't deny that.
I denied June, but September to May she paid. Correct.
Fine. I'd like to see your payments after that.
I have a credit report from them stating that everything's payment on time. From
I have.
Monterey.
Just a second. Very easy call. I asked you a question. That's not my question, Mr. Trayers.
What's that?
The question was...
This shows payments.
Just a second.
Okay,
First, I asked you the question. Did you make the payments in July, August, September, and/or October, which we're not quite finished with?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you make the payments? And is that going to demonstrate the payments to me? Can I see them, please?
Can I give you this as well to show that this says what I purchased the animal in full for yesterday as well?
That you what?
This is from that company stating that I purchased the animal yesterday for a certain amount as well.
I don't know. I don't know. Let me see.
I have from the financing website the 2 times. Mike's only made 2 payments on this dog. Mike made a payment with a credit card on 8/25 of 2016, and then 9 payments.
Just a second. Last payment made June 20th. Would you show me your check or any proof that you made a payment on June 20th? You. Check. Does that come from your bank?
This came from the financing website, so this was just the spreadsheet of everything. Like,
No. I want to see that you made the payment on June 20th. If you moved out on June 1st, I want to see that you made the payment on June 20th.
This is my bank statement right here, and it's highlighted.
Well, it looks like she made the payment on June 20th.
Like I said, I could be
She
off
made
on
the
that.
payment on June 20th.
Okay.
The first payment he made was on 8/25 of 16.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I took care of my dog. Like, I had an Instagram account for him. Like, I loved my dog. That was my child, you know. Mike didn't work.
So he stayed home with the dog.
He did. He stayed home with the dog because
True.
he was unemployed and because he would just sit around and be...
I'd be with the dog.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jenna Khaleesi says ex-boyfriend Michael Trayers owes for the relations of assault. Michael is countersuing for unpaid bills and the cost of the dog.
Now, did you take your name off the lease?
on the apartment lease?
No, on the dog lease. Did you
My-
take your name off the dog lease?
No.
So your name is still on the dog lease?
My name was never on the dog lease. Just my signature.
So you're not on the dog lease?
No.
So you're not on the dog lease, and you're not listed as the purchaser of the dog. Those are the facts. Now you want to tell me why you think that you're entitled to the dog.
I feel that I'm entitled to the dog because it was my child. It was my, you know, I work, I go to school, I took care of my dog. Like, I had an Instagram account for him. Like, I loved my dog. That was my child, you know. Mike didn't work. He didn't have any money, so I was making these payments.
So he stayed home with the dog.
He did. He stayed home with the dog, but he would be in the same exact spot.
You go to school. You work, you go to school. Dog's like your child, but he stayed home, according to you. I mean, I don't know if it's
because
true.
he was unemployed and because he would just sit around and be...
I'd be with the dog. Miss Khaleesi, you have no case. He is the registered owner of the dog. The dog has been with him consistently. He is on the lease for the dog. That, by the way, that lease is sort of unconscionable. The amount of money that... You can't tell me what they said. That's hearsay.
I have a new contract.
I don't care.
So they contacted me and
They can't give you a contract over a pet that you don't own.
They admitted that they were wrong.
Just a second.
That they filed it wrong.
You have no case. The leasing company cannot give you a contract to pay for a dog that doesn't belong to you. According to this yellow document that says the purchaser of the dog is the defendant. So you may make an end run around it, but he is the purchaser. It's just like I buy a car, and you are allowed to use that car. And you decide that since you were allowed to use it and you made some payments on the car, you want to own the car. So you go to the Department of Motor Vehicles and say, well, I want to show you that I made payments on this car, and I should be on the title. They look at the ownership and who is the car registered to, and they say the registered owner of this car is Judy Scheindlin, not you. Well, you say, here is proof that I made some payments on the car. Motor Vehicles is still not going to let you be the title holder of that car, and they're not going to give you the ability to go and get that car.
Would you like to take a look at
No, I'm telling you what the law is. I don't care what some kook in a lending company.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He says that the bill has been fully paid. And Mr. Trayers,
Yes, Your
I
Honor.
certainly expect that to be true, that the bill is not delinquent.
It says it on their credit report right there, too.
I don't care what the credit report says, sir.
Okay.
I asked you a simple question.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jenna Khaleesi claims ex-boyfriend Michael Trayers owes for the return of her dog and for false accusations. Michael has a countersuit for bills and the cost of the dog.
Now, I'm telling you what the law is. He is the owner of the dog. And absent them repossessing the dog for non-payment, which they can if he doesn't pay, and then saying to you, we have now repossessed the dog for non-payment. If you want to pay off this, we will give you the dog because we have the legal right to come and claim the dog. That's a possibility. And that would mean that Mr. Trayer better make certain that there is no outstanding debt on this dog.
That's why the piece of paper you have actually states
Which
that.
actually shows that. But if he did owe money on the dog, and if they decided to repossess the dog, then they would say, well, I'm going to sell it or whatever. I'll offer it to her first if she wants to pay off this note. But they can't make you the owner of the dog. They can't. The dog looks very happy. Was happy to see you. Was happy to see you. Was this a new boyfriend?
No.
No? Just friend?
Best friend of 8 years. He witnessed pretty much everything that happened in our relationship.
I don't care what he witnessed. I don't care that you had a fight. I don't care that you went over with the police to try to get the dog.
The new
I don't care if he
contract-
blocked you in. I don't care.
The new contract that they emailed to me said that they were giving me the title of the dog. That they
Listen to me. They can't give you the title to the dog. They have to give him notice that they are going to come and repossess the animal. Do you understand? If they do it, and he says that the bill has been fully paid, Mr. Trayers,
Yes, Your
I
Honor.
certainly expect that to be true.
It is.
That the bill is not delinquent, because it would be sad.
It says it on their credit report right there, too.
I don't care what the credit report says, sir.
Okay, I apologize.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, I asked you a simple question. The simple question was, she can get the dog if they come and take the dog from you with a marshal. Do you understand that?
Yes, that's correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Contracts.
Yes.
Great, so they know where to go. Perfect. Very good. And at that point, if you are delinquent in the payments, Ms. Khaleesi will then be in a position to pay off the contract and get the dog.
I'm more than well aware, yes, Your Honor. I said I'm more than well aware, yes, Your Honor.
You are?
Yes.
Okay, that's it. We're done. If that happens, the dog can be yours. Otherwise, I certainly suggest that if you want a pet, you go out and get one. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
We were off and on till July. I was seeing another girl.
because he's holding it over me because he wants me to get back. He wanted to get back together.
She started messaging that other girl Facebook.
He just says that he wants to get back together.
They started talking to each other. Then she broke into my house and stole my dog.
The police got involved because I found out that my name was all over that contract and that Mike has been lying to me about everything.
I called the police because she broke into my house, stole my dog,
And the police told me that I needed to take this to civil court.
and then I had to go outside and she physically assaulted me.
I went over there because I used to live there. So I went over, I met up with Mike to him to show me the paperwork, and he didn't show me the paperwork that had my name on it.
You know, I tried to actually share the dog with her and be a nice guy.
And I found out through a third party that my name was all over that paperwork.
She didn't want to. She wanted to make it personal.
So I contacted the police, I contacted a lawyer, and I tried to get my dog back.
No way that she is going to see this dog.
And he's ill fit to take care of the dog.
Well, I just appreciate Judge Judy doing her job.
You purchased a lottery ticket. Lo and behold, you won. What did you do next?
Celebrated.
A couple's lucky streak came to an end.
I told Dave, someone claimed our ticket. Somebody stole our ticket.
And that's how we get to the defendant who cashed your lottery ticket.
But should they have taken their chances with the judge?
My father-in-law contacted me one morning saying, hey, I won a lottery ticket.
Your father-in-law's a liar, and so are you.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
David and Kathleen Purcell are suing 22-year-old Sean Linwood for stealing their winning lottery ticket.
Order. All rise.
That's case number 250 on the calendar in the matter of Purcell versus Linwood.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Mr. and Mrs. Purcell, you purchased a lottery ticket.
Correct.
Where did you purchase it?
A bar next to our home.
And where is that?
In Sandy, Oregon.
When did you purchase it? How much did you pay for the lottery ticket, and what were the prizes?
We paid $20 for 20 games. It was an 8-spot Keno ticket.
Have you played this particular lottery before? And it's an Oregon lottery.
Yes, and yes, we have.
Did you ever win before?
Yes.
And prior to this ticket, how much had you won before?
We won one for $600 once.
And that's the only time?
No, we've won a couple for about that amount.
A couple for $600?
Yes.
So it more than paid for itself?
Yes.
I assume. That's
Yes.
why you keep playing. Lucky people.
Yeah, we've lost a few, too.
Hmm?
We've lost a few,
Oh,
too.
I can imagine. People usually only talk about their wins.
Absolutely.
So you bought this lottery ticket, and lo and behold, you won. How much did you win?
$1,750.
And you found out that you won how?
Well, my husband went and checked the Did You Win machine, and it said, "You're a winner. Please see your retailer." So he brought it up to the bartender, who is our witness, Tria, and she scanned the ticket. Now, if you win over $600, it doesn't tell you immediately how much you won. You have to go back and check the numbers, and then you can find out how much you won. But we had hit 7 out of the 8 numbers, and that paid $1,750.
What did you do next?
Celebrated. And then the next day, I went and got a claim form, which you can get right there at the saloon. And the next day...
Listing your name, your address?
It was in my name. He put the claim form in my name. He even took a picture of the ticket.
Okay.
We put it in the claim form and sent it out the next day.
And you have a picture of the ticket?
Yes.
Correct.
And then what do? They send you a check?
Yeah, you send it into Salem, Oregon, and it usually takes about 3 days to get it back.
And it didn't come back?
And it didn't come back.
And you began investigating, and you had the picture of the ticket with the numbers.
Yeah, we waited the 2 weeks that they tell you to wait. On the 15th day, I called down there to Lottery and gave her my last name and the numbers. I said, we didn't receive our money. Well, they didn't have any of our information. So I told Dave, someone claimed our ticket. Somebody stole our ticket. So that's when I put in a public records request through the Lottery and received his information.
Okay, and that's how we get to the defendant who cashed your lottery ticket.
Correct.
Okay. First, I'd like to see a photo of the ticket.
He has it on his phone that is actually date stamped. I have a picture of it here, but if you'd like to see it with the date on it,
I would.
That's the picture of the ticket, and then he has it on his phone also. That was taken in February. Claim form, you'd like to see that?
I would. As a matter of fact, I'd like to have it up here.
You'd notice the date, it's the 22nd of February.
Okay, did you contact Mr. Linwood personally?
I contacted him through Facebook.
And did he respond?
Yes, after a couple of attempts.
Okay, and what did he say to you when he responded on Facebook?
I'd be glad to show you that.
I'd like to see it.
I draw your attention to the last few.
I'm going to read them all.
Yeah, because he does change his story a couple of times. Okay.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Linwood?
I drive forklift, I do retail, and I do warehouse work.
Let's try to get one cogent story, sir.
Okay.
On what date did this lottery ticket come into your possession?
It had to have been February 27th or probably the beginning of March.
And how did it come into your possession?
Came into my possession, my father-in-law at the time, he contacted me one morning saying, "Hey, I won a lottery ticket of $1,750. I said, "Oh, wow, that's awesome." He said, "Well, could you help me out? It's unsigned. Can you turn it in for me? Because if I turn it in, I'm afraid that child support will take..."
What do you do for a living?
I'm a well driller.
What's your last name?
Richard.
On what date did this lottery ticket come into your possession?
It was on a Friday night. I was at a bar called the Country Corral.
You go to the bar often?
No, I played video poker that night.
Is this bar near to where you live?
Close, yes.
You never know where I'm going to be going, Mr. Richard.
Right.
Do you understand?
I got you.
Great. So it's close to where you live, and you've lived at this address for how long?
Probably 2 months at the time.
Why 2 months?
Because I relocated.
With whom did you relocate?
My daughter and my son-in-law.
So the three of you moved into this place together. Am I understanding that you moved into this new place 2 months before, so that would have been in December, with the defendant and your daughter?
Correct.
You see how you don't know where I'm going, so you understand that?
Yes, I do, Your
Yes,
Honor.
you do. So now you're at a place with Mr. Linwood, and Mr. Linwood just told me that he got a call from you. Now he lives with you. Why do you think that I would believe that since you were living with him, he would call you instead of discussing it with you when he saw you at home? Why do you think that, Mr. Linwood? Why you think that he would call you, and you would have a record of that, correct? On your phone log that he called you.
I do not, Your Honor. It was an old phone.
But why do you think he would call you instead of discussing it with you in person? Because clearly he wanted you to do something illegal, right? Right? If he was looking to avoid child support, he was looking to do something illegal, right?
Yes.
Isn't that something you would want to discuss in person with somebody rather than over the phone?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
So why would you think if he was living with you, he would discuss that with you over the phone? And by the way, where did you get the call?
I got the call. I was at my house, and
where was he?
He's not always at the house.
It's going to get better. I'm going to enjoy it better. All right. Now, Mr. Richard.
Your Honor.
Do you understand? This is not going to turn out well for you or for him, because I read his texts back and forth to the plaintiffs, and his texts back and forth suggest to me he clearly knew that he came into possession of this lottery ticket that did not belong to him. And you knew that if you were involved, that you came into possession of the lottery ticket that didn't belong to you, because immediately what he said was, please don't go to the cops. Last thing he said was that you gave him the lottery ticket as a gift.
As a gift.
As a gift. But then he said that you didn't give it to him as a gift. He said you asked him to cash it for you so that you could avoid child support. Which one do you think it is?
Gift.
It was a gift to him.
Yes.
Well, then he had the money, you see. Then 2 weeks later... 2 weeks later, he had the money. He said, I didn't spend most of it. I have $900. Then he said, I have $1,400. I have to wait until I get paid, but I'll get it all back to you. And then all of a sudden, your tone changed, Mr. Linwood.
Yes, it did, Your Honor.
And why did your tone change?
Your Honor, my father-in-law told me...
Your father-in-law's a liar. So he can sit down. Sit. And so are you. In a short space of 2 pages, you changed your story 3 times.
Yes, I did.
And you swore, and just a second, and you swore to me that he's a liar. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because he just said to me that it was a gift to you. And your answer says he asked me to cash the lottery ticket for him, and this is a sworn deposition, because at the time he owed back child support, and he was afraid that his winnings lottery ticket gift as a gift to you.
It was not a gift, Your Honor.
Well, so then you just called him a liar. So he's a liar.
Yes.
That's what I said. That's why I told him to sit down. You see, and you came together. And you two are so stupid you can't even get your stories together. You slept in the same hotel room last night and you can't get your stories together. They ought to give a prize for stupid. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1750. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I bought the ticket from somebody that was on the side view of a bar.
Why would you buy a winning lottery ticket off somebody unless it was acquired illegally?
I have no idea who this guy was.
It's too fishy. Why would you put yourself in that? They just thought they weren't going to get caught.
Regardless of a gift or whatever, they didn't sign the ticket.
I really have no hard feelings to Sean. I think he was kind of stuck in the middle of this thing.
So I decided to go ahead and buy it. It seemed legit.
The father-in-law, I'm not so sure.
And I'll double my money anytime.
I don't buy the story at all.
She said, quote unquote, we either think it's a lottery worker or a postal worker.
We couldn't get much results from police enforcement.
Well, I'm neither of those. I have no ties to those. So therefore, I did not steal it.
I'm low on the priority board, so I turned to Judy.
Next case.
All parties in the matter of Brady versus Lindsay. Step forward.
Trudy Brady is suing 24-year-old Marasha Lindsay for an unpaid loan for a car down payment.
Miss Brady, you were working at a used car lot, is that right?
Correct.
How long have you worked there?
Since October 23rd of last year.
And on what date did you sell Miss Lindsay a car?
January 15th of 2016.
What kind of car did you sell her?
2006 Toyota Avalon.
And she financed it?
Correct.
How much did you sell it to her for?
$11,950.
And what was your commission on the $11,950?
Total commission that I would receive would be $559.40.
This is what your complaint is. Miss Lindsay didn't have sufficient funds to make the down payment.
Correct.
Is that correct?
No, ma'am.
You had sufficient funds to make the down payment?
That's how I got the car, Your Honor.
No, that's not my question.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When did you total the car?
I totaled the car in April, Your Honor.
Very well, that's when your last payment was.
Well, Your Honor, when I told her I had totaled the car, she said that was fine.
I don't care what you're saying she said. You owed her $1,030. Did you have insurance?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
True money for a car down payment and has not paid it back.
Now, Miss Brady says that she made a loan to you for part or all of the down payment. So my question to you is, you bought a car for $11,950. You had to put a certain amount down on the car in cash.
Yes.
How much was the down payment that had to be placed on the car?
$2,500.
How much money did you have?
$980.
Where did you get the rest of the money from?
Ms. Brady.
Your Honor, that's incorrect information.
I didn't ask you anything. How were you supposed to pay her back the $1,520?
In payments.
Starting when?
I got paid weekly, so as soon as I got paid again.
Okay. And you bought the car in mid-January?
Yes.
So you're supposed to start making your first payment to her a week later?
Yes.
Did you make it?
Yes.
How much was it?
I made payments in increments of $60.
$60 a week?
Yes, but it was also money taken out of my account that I have here. $309
No.
and $206.
Taking out of your account was for the finance company.
No, it wasn't. It was for her. The finance company was a completely different company than the car dealership. But I have right here, it's exactly to that car dealership, not the finance company.
Well, this loan was not to the car dealership. This was a loan she made you personally for the down payment.
But that's how she collected the money, through the car dealership. The $980 as well as the $309 and the $206.
That's all incorrect. Everything she said is incorrect.
Look at what you have.
I also have the correct paperwork right here. This is the loan agreement. Here.
Select Motor Cars. Is that where you work?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what were these payments that were made to Select Motor Cars on February 16th of 2016, on January 19th of 2016, January 11th of 2016? Why in the world did she make a payment January 11th, 2016? She didn't even own the car then.
The correct bills, and I have the original receipts here. When she walks into my office to pay me, I'll write out a receipt right then because she's coming during when I'm at work. Her correct payments were on the 15th of January, February 13th, 26th of February, the 12th of March, the 27th of March, and the 29th of April.
I'd like to see
this is a summation.
You signed this document?
Yes.
And you signed that on the day that you purchased the car?
I'm not sure. I started signing
January
documents
15th.
Oh, yes.
She says that you made payments on the money that you owed her, and the only balance left was $1,030.
But, Your Honor, the balance keeps going up. The balance didn't go up until I totaled the car and found it going up.
Just a second.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
That's as clear as anything.
You know, if I myself had knowledge of that, I would have never signed that. Pay back 10% in a month, that's not even legal. I would have never signed that had I known what I was signing. I signed a lot of paperwork that she gave a lot of different details to.
That's your mistake.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Trudy Brady says Marasha Lindsay borrowed money for a car down payment and has not paid it back.
Now, Do you have proof to me that you paid her back the entire amount of this loan, which was $29.70?
No, Your Honor, I didn't get receipts.
Well, if she was going to make this up, Miss Lindsay, she would certainly, since you signed a document that you owed her $2,790, she could just as easily have said to me that you owed her $29.70. She didn't. She said the only balance left is $1,030. When did you total the car?
I totaled the car in April, Your Honor.
Right, well, that's when your last payment was.
Well, Your Honor, when I told her I had totaled the car, she said that was fine. The payments were fine.
Just a second. I don't care what you're saying she said. You owed her $1,030 at the time you totaled the car. Did you have insurance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did the insurance company pay you for the car?
They covered the total cost of my car, yes, Your Honor.
They did? Well, if they covered the whole cost of your car, then I assume...
Get off the car. I didn't have any money left over.
Well, then that's why you didn't finish paying her off, because this was a personal loan. Had nothing to do with the car dealership.
Well, Your Honor, originally she told me that there was going to be a discount on it. She had me write up a check saying that the check was voided, that she needed that for tax write-off purposes, that it wasn't due for me to sign back, and I don't know. Like, I don't know much about... I signed a bunch of papers that I don't know much about.
Well,
and that was just included in the papers.
That's pretty ridiculous to sign a lot of papers that you don't know anything about.
On my behalf. I take
but
that.
This is a very simple document. This is a very simple document. This says that she made a personal loan to you for the down payment. She made a loan to you so that you would have the money to put down on the car so that you could finance the rest. And you had insurance, so the insurance company paid off your car.
Well, Your Honor, that's not how it was told to me by Ms. Brady.
I don't care how it was told to you. You owe her $1,030, unless you can demonstrate to me that you paid her.
Your Honor, originally how it was told to me was what the finance company financed to me, that was part of my down payment. She told me to write a check that was voided, and that she would use that for tax purposes. And to pay whatever the finance company
Lindsay
didn't give
agreed
her.
to repay a personal loan of $2,700 with a 10% interest rate, making a total to be repaid to the plaintiff of $29.70. That's plain English.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, the full amount is due by February 14th, 2016. I understand that if I do not repay this loan in full by the above date, which you did not, by the way, because she allowed you to continue to make payments, you say the last payment was in April.
Correct.
Despite the fact that you were supposed to have it all paid off in February. I understand that if I do not pay off the debt by the above date, which is February, Miss Brady may sue me in small claims court and or garnish my wages. That's as clear as anything.
You know, if I myself had knowledge of that, I would have never signed that 10%, pay back 10% in a month. That's not even legal. I would have never signed that had I known what I was signing. I signed a lot of paperwork that she gave a lot of different details to.
That's your mistake.
I'll take that negligence, but
No,
I would have never signed 10%.
But you
10%
did.
on a 1-month loan?
Well, it turned out to be not 10% on a 1-month loan. Right now, that amount is on a 7-month loan that you still haven't repaid.
Because I was taken advantage of.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,030. We're done.
Thank you, Judge Judy.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
So get clever.
It's the story. I'm sticking to it.
Liar, liar.
Judge Judy gets the last word.
They don't keep me here because I'm gorgeous. They keep me here because I'm smart.
I'm very pleased with the judge's decision. It's a legitimate, wonderful company that I work with.
I would have never signed a 10% loan over a month loan. Like, that's crazy, 10% interest. I don't even think that's legal.
She was a type of person that tried to hustle me, contacted me, desperate to buy a vehicle.
Because I was desperate for a car, and
she knew what she was signing, the agreement. Nobody else would loan her the money.
What she was saying didn't match the paperwork, so of course.
I believe since she was out of the in the military, had honor.
I have a newborn child and I have a job. I need a car, so I took it.
And had a small child, was a single mother. I was trying to help someone.
It's very shady. It's very shady.
You can't trust everybody.
It was determined that we would not live together peacefully. Ms. Baker decided to lock me out of the apartment.
His former roommate tries to pass the buck.
My full defense is I'm not the landlord.
You were the one who put the stuff outside.
After his possessions get tossed.
The furniture was the stuff that he left.
He actually left several items, like here's his remote.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
24-year-old Matthew Kearns is suing his former roommate, Shelley Baker, for the return of his belongings.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, this case number 266 on the calendar, the matter of Kearns versus Baker.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Mr. Kearns, how long were you and Miss Baker roommates?
Approximately 6 months, Your Honor.
Did you move into her home?
No, Your Honor.
She moved into yours? Or you moved in together?
The way that it happened, Your Honor, was I rented a two-bedroom condo with one of my friends at the time. About 3 months in, it was determined that we could no longer live together. The roommate at that time decided to just kind of pack up his stuff and move, leaving me to pay the full rent amount, which I could not do. The landlord gave me the ultimatum, basically, that I could either be evicted or pay the full amount, neither of which were acceptable to me. She came back slightly later and said, I have a friend, the friend was Miss Shelley Baker, who needs a place to stay, and if you allow Miss Baker to leave the rent amount. So
why did you need a place to stay?
I was in between homes. I was actually homeless for about 7 days. I had collected about $1,900, and Denver is the rental market there is bad.
How do you know
I needed like $2,400, so I had moved all my stuff into storage, and then I was homeless for a few, and then Jerry is a good friend of mine, the landlord, who is my landlord also, and she said,
just a second,
to move in.
The landlord is not only a friend of yours, but was your landlord in another premise?
She is my landlord right now, Your Honor. I still live there, and Mr. Kearns doesn't live there.
Do you have a roommate?
Yes.
Mr. Kearns, at some point, things did not go well between you and the defendant. How much into her tenancy did that happen?
Very shortly thereafter.
As soon as she moved in?
I would say probably 2 weeks to a month after that, it was determined that we would not live together peacefully.
When did you start to live there?
January 2016.
Is that right?
Yes, that sounds about right.
And you started to look for a new place somewhere in February, sometime in February?
Very, very shortly after Miss Baker moved in.
Fine, okay. So your problem is that you claim that Miss Baker either kept or disposed of some of your property. That's what your lawsuit is about. And Miss Baker has a counterclaim. She says that you damaged her motorcycle.
On March 30th, continued moving on March 31st.
And you had paid March's rent?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. The agreement was that I would be out by midnight on April 1st, which I had planned to do. However, Miss Baker decided to lock me out of the apartment.
How many trips did you make back and forth to get your property?
3 to 5, I would say.
Let's say 5.
Okay.
And you have a car?
Correct.
What items did you leave behind?
The largest ticket item is going to be my California King bed set.
California King?
Very large bed.
It's a large bed.
A bed?
Huge bed.
Very large bed.
Oh, a king bed.
I had a large leather sofa, a small leather sofa, a matching leather ottoman, a dresser, an entertainment stand.
Just a second. Okay. And do you acknowledge that the furniture was the stuff that he left? He took...
Yes, he just left the heavier items, the bedroom items, basically. The couch and everything is in the garage. It's not part of the house. We have a garage also, and the couch, like he's got the cushions, I've got the couch, so it's all out in the garage. There is some of those items in the garage still.
Which items are in the garage?
The couch, the ottoman, the love seat, those 3 items.
What about the king bed?
That was removed when I got another roommate. So he was out March 31st. I don't know where April 1st came from. It's March 31st.
Fine. So king-size bed.
That's incorrect. He actually left several items. Like, here's his remote.
Listen to me. Some things that... This is not show and tell. Put that down.
No, but I mean...
Put it down. I'm talking. Pay attention.
Okay.
You say that you have everything with the exception of the king-size bed in your garage.
No, that's incorrect.
Then I misunderstood you. What do you have in the garage?
In the garage, I have miscellaneous kitchen items. I have...
Where is the sofa?
It's in the garage.
Well, where is the dresser?
That was removed out of the bedroom. I just needed to clear the bedroom for a new roommate.
Just a second. Shh. Just look at me.
Okay.
Bedroom. Where is the entertainment center?
That was removed when I had to get a new roommate.
When you say removed, what did you do with it?
Actually, at the instruction of the landlord.
No. You can't tell me what
it was removed so I could allow room for a new roommate.
Miss Baker, I want you to listen to what I'm saying to you. Where did you remove it to?
Outside.
So you put the entertainment center
Right.
What kind of an entertainment center was it?
I don't. It's
What kind
just
of
a
an entertainment
bedroom.
center was it?
It was similar to the dresser. It was black metal with a diamond plate design on it, like the stuff that you see in garages.
Okay.
The entertainment stand is obviously much larger than the dresser. It's meant to accommodate, you know, a TV as well as a stereo and some.
Tell me, sir, you pay rent on the 1st of the month, correct? So you paid March's rent.
Correct.
And you made 5 trips back and forth to pack up. You had
Roughly.
found a new apartment?
Correct.
And I would assume that by March 31st, you had made arrangements for a truck or a U-Haul to come back to pick up your large ticket items.
That is very correct.
And what happened when you got there with the U-Haul truck?
Miss Baker locked me out.
Now, what U-Haul place did you actually rent the truck from?
U-Haul, moving and storage of Green Mountain.
May I see, is that your contract with them?
It's an invoice.
I'd like to see it. Perfect. So I want you to tell me what happened when he arrived with the U-Haul.
He's under the interpretation that the door was locked. I'm actually deaf in one of my ears, Your Honor. I literally have a 75% loss in this ear. It's important what I'm going to say. So after he left, he didn't tell me he was getting a U-Haul that day. It was not vengeful. I actually fell asleep. He had been moving stuff for 2 days. I fell asleep, and I fell asleep on my good ear, so he must have knocked at the door. And I know, if it doesn't happen very often, but I won't hear an alarm if I fall asleep. Record that shows like a 75%
I'm not
loss.
interested in your doctor's record. March 31st, had the locks been changed, Mr. Kearns?
No, Your Honor. What happened was there were 2 doors. There was a standard door and then like a glass screen door. I did not have the key to the glass screen door, and that is the one that Miss Baker locked.
Why?
Oh.
Why didn't you have a key to that screen door?
If I recall correctly, there was no outside lock. But regardless, the fact remains I was never given a key to that screen door. I did contact the landlord at this point. The landlord lived 3 hours away from us, and she informed me that if I were
you can't. Just a second.
Sure.
You can't tell me what the landlord informed you. Had you locked the screen door?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, you had absolutely no right to get rid of his stuff. He did present to me evidence that he had gotten a U-Haul on the 31st.
I would like to. Really, my full defense is I'm not the landlord. I only
I
did
don't
what
care.
was
You
instructed.
were the one who put the stuff outside.
After the landlord did her 10-day notice pursuant to the lease.
You were the one who put the stuff outside.
At the instruction of the landlord,
I
Your
don't
Honor.
know that. Is the landlord here?
I can
don't know
show that I rented the space right afterwards.
I don't care.
Or that she did.
I don't care.
Okay. I did remove the stuff because I needed to get another roommate at the instruction of the landlord. Okay.
I know you keep saying it, but listen to me. I'm totally ignoring it.
I know that.
Good.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He purposely damaged my Harley Davidson, and I have the estimate. That's all I'm interested in.
I have an email with the landlord that states that, I'm just saying that states
I don't want you to just say. I want you to tell me about the Harley.
And later today,
the plaintiff knew that there was cigarette smoke in the house.
What you said to him was, as an accommodation,
yes,
we will smoke outside.
Yeah, we'll limit the smoking.
And he says that didn't happen.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Matthew Kearns says his former roommate, Shelley Baker, owes for the return of his belongings. Shelley is countersuing for property damage.
Now, all I want is the bills for the furniture that you are claiming is worth $4,000. Okay, and where did you purchase the sofa from, sir?
The sofas were a gift from my mother.
Okay. Did you replace them?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have the bills for replacing them?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see them. They looked as if they were perfect. Okay, great. The entertainment center, you didn't replace it, I assume.
The entertainment center was replaced. That is included in there.
In the $1,200?
Yes, from the
In the
American
$1,200.
Furniture, yes,
All right, that comes to $2,509. Both of those items, including the bed, the replacing of the bed.
I still have the couch and the love seat and the ottoman of that.
Where are they?
They're in the garage.
Except he replaced them.
He never came back to get his stuff.
$2,509. You can keep the couch. Now,
can I?
let's get briefly to your alleged counterclaim. You want to tell me what you're suing him for?
Well, Your Honor, the reason he was evicted to start with, I would like to present this supplemental report. It's important. I was scared for my life.
Listen to me carefully.
How do I present this report to you?
Your counterclaim is that he purposely damaged my Harley Davidson, and I have the estimate. That's all I'm interested in.
Okay.
Tell me when he did that and under what
In the 2 days that he did the 5 trips back and forth, and I allowed he was in there and had free will. He told me he would be back with the U-Haul on his next day off, and I have an email with the landlord that states that, I'm just saying that states
I don't want you to just say, I want you to tell me about the Harley.
He had moved, and the next day off, I went out to the garage, and every single one of my boxes was dumped upside down in the garage. All my personal pictures, all my antique dolls, all of my electronics had been pushed off the table. It was in complete shambles. And I go, oh my God, he literally trashed all of my stuff. And at that point, I became very fearful. And I told him that he needed to get
Would you tell me about the Harley, please?
Yep. He told me that he needed to get a civil assist, is what I told him after he trashed my stuff. The Harley was knocked over. My pictures, my artwork was ruined.
Objection, Your Honor.
Just a second.
See?
All I want to know is about the Harley, because that's what's here in your counterclaim.
There was damage, Your Honor, to my Harley Davidson.
Show me. And the estimate for repair.
I don't have either one of those.
Well, then
Here's
your
the estimate
counterclaim's
for repair.
dismissed.
I apologize.
Just go.
Gosh, I don't know. Thank you.
I'm telling you.
Okay, right on. Thank you. And I also have a text thing that shows that Matt did dump my stuff out by his words in the text.
I would like to see photographs of the Harley.
Okay. Here you go. That is not the damage, Your Honor. I don't have that piece of paper in front of me.
Well, that's all I'm interested in seeing.
Right there's the estimate that will tell you, I guess.
The counterclaim's dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff to the amount of $2,509. We're done.
Wow.
These are excused. You may step out.
The landlord asked me to get him out.
Judgment was fair today.
I fell asleep on my good ear.
She locked the glass door.
I did not hear the door knock. He did not tell me that he was getting a U-Haul that day and moving out, and I fell asleep.
For at least another good 5-10 years, I think I'll be living by myself only.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Cuevas versus Cacciatore. Step forward.
John Cuevas is suing his former landlord, David Cacciatore, for the return of his rent and security deposit.
Do you live with him?
Yes.
Great. Stand up. Tell me your last name.
McRory.
How long have you lived with Mr. Cacciatore?
Almost 3 years.
Do you smoke?
Yes.
Does Mr. Cacciatore smoke?
Yes.
Now you can sit. Mr. Cuevas, you rented a room in the house that Mr. Cacciatore shares with Miss McRory.
Yes.
You gave them $1,200 in both rent and security.
Yes, ma'am.
And you moved in on what date?
Moved in on the 21st.
Of what month?
August.
Of this year?
Yes.
Did you see the room advertised on the internet?
Yes. Craigslist. She had to move because of the fact that her brother died of cancer. She had to move in with her mother. And I was looking for a place, and I seen that, and since I was unemployed at the time, I checked out Craigslist, and I found it said $500. And when I pulled up, it went up $100 because I guess it was because of my car, you know.
So you saw the room that they were renting?
Yes.
Did you have any other conversation with them about the room?
No, Your Honor.
You moved out on the 22nd.
The next day, yes.
Tell me why you moved out.
Well, we had an agreement on smoking outside. He said he would smoke outside.
So you were aware that they smoked?
Right.
Who did you have the conversation with about smoking outside?
With David.
That'd be me, Your Honor.
With him?
Yeah. Yes.
Did he tell you also that his girlfriend smoked?
Yes.
And what did he tell you?
Said that they would make it accommodate for me to, you know, that they'll smoke outside from now on, which was crock-a-donkey dust.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He doesn't look like the kind of man that would take his TV, computer, clothes, hanging them up in the closet, getting it all ready, and then the next day say, well, you know what? I would like to do this all over again.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
John Cuevas broke his promise not to smoke in the house. He is suing for the return of his rent and security deposit.
Okay, so when you moved in your things, tell me what you moved in, Mr. Cuevas. You moved.
I moved in my clothes, my computers,
Did you
my
set
TV.
up the computers?
I didn't get to.
Did you set up the TV?
Yes.
So your clothes, your TV, your computer, anything else? Everything that you had?
I got
when you
everything. The next day, I got everything out.
But I'm talking about what you moved in. Clothes, computer, and TV. Anything else?
That was it.
You moved out the next day because?
Because it was overwhelming smoke.
Did you speak to Mr. Cacciatore about it?
Yes.
What did he say?
Said he would make a letter for his in-laws that happened to be there. He said they were just going to be there for a couple of days, but, you know, I didn't think that was going to happen.
Just a second. Did his in-laws smoke?
Yes, they did. Like chimneys.
Okay. Now, Mr. Cacciatore, what Mr. Cuevas wants is he wants his money back.
I understand, Your Honor.
And clearly, you had a conversation with him, because I read your answer. Clearly, you had a conversation with him about smoking.
Yeah, he knew I smoked prior.
Just a second.
Yeah, sure.
Clearly, you had a conversation with him about smoking.
Okay.
I mean, you know, it's sort of an odd thing to have a conversation about unless it was important to you. Do you smoke?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Your girlfriend smoke? You don't rent the room.
Exactly.
Unless some assurance has been made to you that the smoking will be outside.
I agree 100%. Basically, the plaintiff knew that there was cigarette smoke in the house. While we were writing up the agreement, the contract, and so forth, I was actually smoking.
No, I understand that. He
Yes.
said to me that he knew that you smoked.
Yeah.
That what you said to him was, as an accommodation,
Yes.
we will smoke outside.
Yeah, we'll limit the smoking.
As an accommodation, you're
Yes.
not going to limit your smoking. When you're home, you'll go outside if you're going to smoke.
Correct, Your Honor.
And he says that didn't happen when he moved in. You had your in-laws over, and they were smoking.
Well, my in-laws, they lived in the living room area at the time being because they were only there till their house got built. And they actually set up a little ashtray outside. There's a patio that leads right out their door, and they were smoking outside.
He gets his money back.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, he made it clear to you what his needs were. You assured him that his needs would be met. Look, you haven't been psychiatrically hospitalized in the past 6 months, have you, Mr.
No,
Cuevas?
no, Your
You're
Honor.
not on any psychotropic medication, are you, Mr.
No, Your
Cuevas?
Honor. I'm not.
You're not receiving any disability for
No,
any
Your Honor.
psychiatric
No.
illness. You see, he doesn't look like the kind of man that would spend hours loading his stuff into his car, picking up his TV, undoing his computer, taking his clothes, taking his TV, computer, clothes, hanging them up in the closet, getting it all ready, and then the next day you say, well, you know what? I would like to do this all over again. I'm going to take my clothes out of the closet, unplug the TV from the wall, schlep it out to my car. Unless you told him that he, in effect, would not be bothered by your smoke. Do you understand?
I understand completely.
Great. Judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $1,200. We're done.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
She was supposed to fix the car. Did you move the car to the street?
Yes, when I was done fixing it.
And the city took it away.
It was not operable. I have pictures right here where you took every part out of my car.
Judge Judy.
The plaintiff knew there was cigarette smoke in the house.
They were lighting up like chimneys.
I told him I would limit the cigarette to become best buds. I'm going to be your brother.
We were going to go to karaoke together, you know.
Searching for his money back.
Well, I'm going to be aware of Craigslist. That's not going to happen no more.
A heated topic divides a couple.
A friend of his that had been trying to hit on me.
I'm like, he can't automatically get your number out of nowhere. How'd he get it? How'd he call you?
Then did jealousy turn to violence?
When he grabbed me, he threw me to his left, and I hit the wall.
She hit me.
Where did she hit you?
On my face. And I was like, get out of here. Get out.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Sheila Rogers is suing her ex-boyfriend, David Dobbs, for assault, medical expenses, and pain and suffering.
Order. All rise. Case number 222 on the calendar, the matter of Rogers versus Dobbs.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Mr. Dobbs, where do you live?
In Ontario, California.
And you live in Las Vegas?
Yes, ma'am.
This complaint alleges that in May of this year, Mr. Dobbs, you drove a motel or hotel. Is it
Yes.
hotel or motel?
Hotel.
What was the purpose of that visit?
I had a show out there in Vegas.
It wasn't to visit the plaintiff?
No, ma'am.
Were you still in a relationship in May?
Yes.
What kind of show did you have?
DJ dance, kind of entertainment show.
But you did let her know you were coming?
Yes.
To Las Vegas?
Yes.
And at some point in May, what was it, May 16th?
May 14th.
May 14th. You came to the hotel where he was
ma'am.
staying. Had he invited you over to meet?
We had text with each other the earlier part of the day. Some of the texts turned a little sexual, but we agreed that I would come to the hotel where he was, and I went.
To visit him?
Yes, ma'am.
So that was a pre-arrangement?
Somewhat, yes, ma'am.
What do you mean somewhat? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Before he came, I had no thoughts of going to see him because normally I would get his rooms for him when he came to Las Vegas. But at this time, I did have him a room, but we got into it like a week before.
You got into what?
We had an argument.
That's what I'm trying to get at. So you had an argument a week before. Was that in person or over the phone?
It was basically over text messages.
And what was the argument about?
He texted me and asked me did I know of anywhere that he could work while he was, and he didn't want to ask for it. And I told him I didn't know of a club, and I asked him what did he need it for. And he said, I just need it, and he wouldn't tell me what he needed it for. So I asked him again. He still wouldn't tell me. So I said, never mind. And he got an attitude about it. He told me he didn't need my attitude. He just needed to know if there was a place that he could work while he was out here.
And this was all in text messages?
Yes, ma'am.
So then he came out. You knew he was there, and you went to see him. So your relationship with him had cooled during that week?
It had cooled actually in January to February. We had started cooling off because I was getting tired of his lies. I had started backing away from him because of other women.
Fine. So tell me what happened on the 14th of May when you went to his hotel.
Well, I pulled up. I valet parked. He told me he was at the roulette table, so I went in. He was playing roulette, and I stood behind him. He turned around and saw me. He turned around and gave me a kiss. I guess he had made friends with another guy that was playing there, so he introduced me to the guy. I knew he had already been drinking all day, but I asked him if he wanted a drink. He said he did. I went to the bar, got myself a drink. I went back to the table. He was still playing. When I got to the table, the cocktail waitress arrived there at the same time, so he had 2 drinks. He downed one, and he finished playing. We started to walk to the room. And on the way to the room, he drank the other one, put it down. There was a security guard at the elevators, so he showed the key. We went up to the room. We get in the room, and he turns on music. I went over to the window, and I was looking out the window. He asked me to pour him a drink because he had brought a big bottle of Captain Morgan with him from California, and he had been drinking on it prior to.
You don't know what happened prior to. He asked you to pour him another drink.
Right, and I did. He turned some music on. We were talking, and I started to have a conversation about a friend of his that had been trying to hit on me. And months before, I had sent him a screenshot of what the guy was saying, and I thought he would handle it, but he didn't.
Why would you think he would handle it, Miss Rogers?
Because that's what I was brought up that men do. If this is your friend, he shouldn't be coming at the person that you're dating. So I thought he would be.
Know him.
I thought, you know, this supposedly is his friend, so you would do something about it. But he turned it back on me. So we were talking about it. So he said, I tell you what, I'm going to call this. And he called him. I don't want to say it here. He called him. I'm going to call him right now. He has an iPhone, so he FaceTimed him. The guy answered. So he proceeded to tell him what I had told him about he liked me and that it wasn't all about money. And the guy cut him off, and he said, I tell you what, I do, but you guys keep me out of what's going on between you. And he repeated himself and said it again. Keep me out of what's going on between you. I'm going to delete her as my friend on Facebook, and I'm going to delete her number out of my phone. He said, keep me out of your business, and he hung up on him. When he hung up, that's when he changed. He said that, I don't care what he say, you're mine, and I'm your, and I said, I'm nobody's, don't call me that. And he said that I'm your, and you're my, and I said, cute, but I don't like either of those words. I got up because I was sitting on the bed, farthest from the window. I started to walk. I got there. He grabbed me.
Why were you going over there?
I was going over to the window. He had the window open. I was just walking over to the window. But before I got there, he was standing there, and he grabbed me. And when he grabbed me, he threw me to his left. And there was a desk, dresser / TV stand there. And I managed to catch myself like this. And I'm standing there like, what just happened? And I'm asking him, why did you do that? What's wrong with you? And I turned, and he was pretty much on me. So I pushed him in the chest backwards. He grabbed me again, and he threw me to his left again. This time I missed the desk, and I hit the wall. His suitcase was sitting on the luggage rack right there. I have pictures of the suitcase, and I hit the wall in between the suitcase and the desk. When I hit that, I fell over on the suitcase and the luggage rack. We all fell to the floor.
Who all fell to the floor?
The suitcase, the luggage rack, and myself. And I managed to roll over in a sitting position, and I'm sitting there thinking, wow, what just happened?
Okay,
why did he do this?
So what did you do next? He did it because, if I believe you, he did it because you've just told me that he had double shot. He ordered another double shot, which he consumed. He asked for another drink when you got into the room.
Right.
So you're not dealing with someone who's rational. And not dealing with someone who's rational, you're telling them that a friend of his has put a hit on you, and you think that he should deal with it in his otherwise altered state.
Yes, ma'am.
That doesn't permit anybody to put their hands on you, but that would be poor judgment.
Yes.
Right.
It would be.
And it was.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He grabbed me again and slung me over on the bed. I said, he's really going to hurt me. So I went over and I grabbed my phone, and I didn't know.
And he went to the bathroom?
He went in the bathroom.
Why didn't you leave?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Sheila Rogers says ex-boyfriend David Dobbs assaulted her in a Las Vegas hotel room.
Okay, I assume that you've told me honestly that you had one drink.
I had half of one drink. My drink was still pretty full.
So you had a clear mind, and you're dealing with a guy who's got a fuzzy mind.
Yes, ma'am.
If I believe you.
Yes.
He's going to tell me his own version of the story. Make a long story short, then, based upon what I heard, you called the police.
Well,
did you call the police or call security?
I called the police the first time.
Okay, so
once I got up, because when I got up off the floor, he was walking by to go to the bathroom, and he grabbed me again and slung me over on the bed. So I said, if he's really going to hurt me if I continue to let him do this. So I went over and I grabbed my phone, and I didn't know.
And he went to the bathroom?
He went in the bathroom.
Why didn't you leave?
Your Honor, I don't know. I honestly...
I'm just curious. Why didn't you leave?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I thought this was somebody that I loved, somebody that I knew. I couldn't understand why he was doing it. I can't tell you why I didn't leave at that moment.
Okay, fine. So you called the police. The police arrived.
Yes.
And you were arrested.
Yes, ma'am.
And you were arrested on an outstanding warrant.
A warrant that I didn't know I had.
Okay. It was an outstanding warrant for what?
It was a 2009 unemployment, theft, and fraud they charged me with.
Okay. Was that case ever resolved?
It is being resolved.
Oh, so it hasn't been resolved, then I don't want to hear about it. Okay, so there's an outstanding warrant. You were arrested on that, and subsequently someone posted bail for you?
Yes.
Who did?
My daughter.
How old is your daughter?
She will be 30.
Compensated for the assault. That's what you're here for.
Well, it tore a ligament in my knee.
That's what you want.
Yes.
You want to be compensated for the assault. Okay, because that matter was never pursued by the authorities in Las Vegas?
It wasn't pursued because Mr. Dobbs lied.
Okay, well, I don't know that. Now, you've told me your story. He's going to tell me his story.
Okay.
Go.
How you doing, Miss Judy?
Okay,
on May 14th, when I was out there doing my show, yes, I've been drinking. We have been drinking together. I have no idea what this one drink thing is.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
14th, she says she arrived and you were at the casino table.
Right.
Is that true?
Yes.
And you finished at the casino table and you were going upstairs to your room.
Yes, ma'am.
The two of you.
Yes.
Great. Well, let's pick it up from there.
We're walking to the elevator together, drinking together. We get to the room, we're drinking together. Oh, Captain Morgan, let's have some fun. I turn on the music, everything's going all good. She goes, hey, your friend keep hitting on me. I'm like, well, he can't hit on you. He can't automatically get your number out of nowhere. How'd he get it? How'd he call you? I'm asking her questions like, you can't tell me things because this is my friend. He already told me this situation, but it's not the time to talk. Hey, just keep our business to us. And he'd never know nothing about that. That's all I say.
I don't understand. I don't understand what you just said.
Don't tell them about me. There's no reason you should talk to my friend about me because you and him have no communication. For what? Why are you guys friends? That's my friend. That's not your friend. So how does he have your number? Why is he on your phone? That was the question.
Okay, so the question was how your friend got her phone number.
There you go.
Did she answer that question?
No. Just went around it. Never cared about it. Oh.
So, and never answered your
Right.
question. What happened next?
After that, I called him. Like, bro, what's going on? Oh, man, just keep my name out of it. I don't want to go through that. All right, fine. Hung up. Like, look, you my girl. I did say she like, oh, don't call me no, we're drunk. We're both intoxicated. Don't call me no. I'm like, look, I can call you whatever I want to. Girl, you are tripping. Get out.
I don't understand what
She hit me.
Where did she hit you?
On my face.
Okay.
So when she walked over, hit me in the face, pushed her back like, you are tripping. Get out of here.
Well, Mr. Dobbs, did she hit you or was she walking over to hit you?
No, she hit me. She walked over and hit me because I'm at the table at a standstill. I'm at a table at the standstill where the drink is. So when she walked over, it was just a hit. And I was like, whoa, get out of here. Get out. I ain't leaving. Don't call me no.
Did she hit you with a closed fist or an open hand?
Yes.
So she slapped you?
Yes.
Okay, what happened next?
I just kept telling her to leave. Then I turned my phone on. I just wanted to record everything. Like, it sounded like it's going to be some tricky, something funny going on. And I was getting dressed. I was ready to go gamble. I'm not leaving. How you going to call me if you love me? Get out. Just leave. Just leave. All you got to do is get out of my room.
Okay. Next.
I go into the bathroom. She follows me to the bathroom. I'm still recording. Get out.
You have that recording?
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to hear it.
Oh.
Where did you take that from?
All you got to do is push play.
How can you say you love me and you call me a... How can you say you love me and you call me a...
That's where she pushed me.
How can you say that you love me and you call me a...
Don't touch me. Whatever you do, don't touch me. I don't care about none of that. Don't touch me. Thank you.
There's more.
That's why the whole world...
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Miss Rogers.
Yes.
First of all, he didn't look really drunk. You look more drunk than he did in this video.
I wasn't drunk.
You look more drunk than he does in this video.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Sheila Rogers claims ex-boyfriend David Dobbs assaulted her in a Las Vegas hotel room.
Okay, so you followed him.
I have a recording also.
So you followed him. I'm going to see it, but you followed him into the bathroom.
I went into...
No, you followed him into the bathroom. That's what this shows. He's getting washed. He says, just leave. You followed him into the bathroom, and then at some point, when he was recording what was going on, you went over to the phone, knocked over the phone, because that's what that shows. That's a little bit of a different story.
Well,
Now I'd like to see your video.
It's a recording. I actually went to the bathroom after I called the police. I didn't follow him directly to the bathroom.
Miss Rogers.
Yes.
First of all,
I understand what you're saying.
well, good. I'm glad you understand what I'm saying. If you are afraid, as a matter of fact, he didn't look he did in this video.
I wasn't drunk.
Just, you look more drunk than he does in this video. He's washing his face. He says, I got to get ready. I got to go. Get out. Don't touch me. Get out. And you confronted him again, followed him around again, knocked over the phone that was recording. Now I want to see, you said you have your own recording. I'd like to see it.
It is more of a voice recording of us. There you go.
Like you an innocent guy, like you didn't do anything, you didn't start anything, you didn't push me. And why are you acting like that?
If you can leave, none of that.
Okay, if you gonna act like that, then we.
That's where it stops. Judge, I have the full version of that. The full, with the video.
I'd like to see it.
Yes, please. It started and stopped somewhere. I wanted the rest of it to play. That didn't even go how it's supposed to go. There you go. That's the 3-minute version. There you go. That's the full clip. I don't know what that was.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Are you the victim of an assault? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us.
With me. Why are you acting like this? I ask you a question. You don't want to answer that on camera, huh?
I don't have to answer anything. Can you just leave?
Let me record my stuff too.
Please do.
Why are you acting like this?
Please, let's record.
You all of a sudden start acting like there's some, like, I don't know, like you an innocent guy, like you didn't do anything, you didn't start anything, you didn't push me. Why are you acting like that?
If you can leave, none of that.
Okay, if you're gonna act like that, then we don't. I'm gonna leave.
Okay.
But since you pushed me down on the floor, we're gonna make this official. How about that?
Do what you feel, Sheila.
Because that was unnecessary.
You slapping me on my face was necessary?
I didn't slap you in your face until you pushed me.
I did not push you.
You did too push me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, then we'll both go.
Because you're not worried, I'm not.
Got it. Case is dismissed. We're done.
Thank you. Those are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Oh, it was perfect. It was great. I mean, video evidence never lies. Revenge. Revenge. Being married and unhappy. The truth. I like that. Let's go with the truth will set you free.
He let me eat some of his food, and
I did not give him the food. He stole it.
A landlord's list of grievances.
How much did you owe him?
he told me $20.
Just $20.
He got upset that I wasn't giving it to him on the spot.
Then,
You and Mr. Horn had an altercation.
did he take a swing at solving it?
He came out of the door with a bamboo stick, and I reached into my closet in self-defense to grab my bat.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
21-year-old Chase Adrian is suing his former landlord, 73-year-old William Tyler Horn, for the return of his security deposit and...
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 245 on the calendar in the matter of Adrian versus Horn.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Adrian, you were a tenant of Mr. Horn's for approximately 8 months, according to what I read in your complaint. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you're suing him for a variety of things. Let's take first things first. First thing is that you had a security deposit that you left with him.
Yes.
And you want the security deposit refunded to you.
Yes.
How much was the security deposit?
$14.50.
Is that correct, Mr. Horn?
I believe so.
Okay. And when did you give him the $14.50? When did you start your tenancy?
The agreement was entitled, I have evidence.
Just tell me the date.
23rd of November, 2015.
And you moved out on what date?
I moved out on June 21st, 2016.
Did Mr. Horn return any part of your security deposit?
No.
And you just rented a room from him?
Yes.
Is that correct? All right, Mr. Horn, we're going to deal with first things first. Security deposit. You will agree that you did not return any part of Mr. Adrian's security deposit?
Correct.
Now you're going to tell me why.
Because damage and the thefts that occurred when he was living in the house.
You don't get any credit for thefts that occurred when he was in the house that you didn't report to the police?
Arrested him, yes.
No. During his tenancy?
No.
Fine. Forget thefts. I want to see the damage that you're claiming that he caused.
Okay.
When was that damage caused?
The day he moved out.
Did you punch these holes in the walls?
No, I did not.
Did anything that you do cause these holes in the doors?
The big hole was already there when we replaced the door, and the small hole, Mr. Horn punched.
Who replaced the door?
I did. I put it back myself.
You replaced the door on the hinges, and this was the door to your room?
Yes, there was a door. It was the door before this one was broken, so I just replaced that door with this door with the two holes.
You bought a door?
No.
Where did you get it from?
It was in the garage, an extra door in the garage.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. What other damage did he cause?
You don't count stolen.
No,
correct?
you have to return his security deposits. So we have $1,450 so far. Now, the second part of your lawsuit is punitive damages for false arrest. I assume that sometime around the end of June when you moved out, you and Mr. Horn had an altercation.
Yes.
And as a result of that altercation, you were arrested.
That is correct.
No charges were ever filed against you.
No.
So you were released.
Yes.
Okay. I want you to tell me about what happened the 20th. So tell me what happened on June 20th.
On the 20th, Mr. Horn and I got into an argument.
About what?
About money that I should have paid him for gas and for food.
Gas for what?
He was driving me to the beach so we could go on walks, and he was driving to Hollywood so he could go to a comedy show, and I wanted to go with him. But I didn't pay him for gas, and so...
Okay, so you were going to split the gas?
No, I was going to pay him full in gas.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much did you owe him?
He told me $20.
So he approached you about the gas money?
Yes.
And food?
Food. I ate some of his food. He let me eat some of his food, and part of that would be paying for the food.
Would be all in the $20?
Yes.
Okay. So he asked you for the $20. And what happened?
I told him I didn't have it at the moment, but I would give it to him as soon as I got it. And he was upset. He didn't believe me.
How long had you owed him the $20?
About maybe 2.5 months. Because he was being generous and driving me without asking for the money, but it got so overwhelming that he finally asked for the money, and I agreed to give it to him.
Just $20?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And you would owe it to him for months?
Yes.
Go ahead.
And after that, we got into a verbal argument because, like I said, he got upset that I wasn't giving it to him on the spot. And so he punched the first hole in the door, and he was getting upset. And he kept pushing on the door, and I locked the door. I said, I need you to, but he was still getting upset. And then, he was hitting the door as hard as he could, and he finally broke it off its hinges. And he shoved me down where I hit the fan. I landed on the fan, and it broke. And after that, I called the police. And the police came the first time, and they said, what's going on? I told them what happened. And they said, well, why
don't tell me what they said. Do you have a police report from that incident?
I do not.
Okay, so you called them the first time.
Yes.
And?
They told me...
You can't tell me what they told you. You went back into the house.
Yes, after they told me to,
You went back into the house?
Yes, back into the house.
And that was the 20th. Okay, what happened after you went back into the house?
After that, Mr. Horn went back into his room. And when he was in his room, he closed his door, and I went over to the door and I knocked on it. And I wanted to, just apologize for yelling at him. But he was still upset, and I was still knocking on the door just saying, hey, I would like to apologize. I made a mistake. I just want to apologize.
You were yelling at him?
Yes. And he was upset, and he came out of the door with a bamboo stick. And I ran back into my room because he was following me into my room. He was really upset. He had an angry face. And I went back into my room, and he was there with the bamboo stick. And I reached into my closet in self-defense to grab my bat, okay? And I held it up. I didn't touch him with it. I held it up.
Second time?
Yes.
So you called the police on both occasions?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, what happened when the police arrived?
The police arrived and they handcuffed Tyler and they sat me down on the driveway. They talked with him, I don't know what they were talking about, and then they came over to me and they asked me what was going on. I told them what was happening, and they had enough evidence, I guess, to arrest me because Mr. Horn said that I hit him with the bat, which I did not hit him. I didn't touch him.
Did you tell the police that he hit you with the bat?
No, I did not.
What did you tell the police, Mr. Horn?
Told the police that he pulled a knife on me, which he did. His memory is very faulty.
Did you have a knife in your possession?
No, I did not.
During the course of the police placing you under arrest, did a knife fall out of your pocket?
It was in my pocket, but it was not out of my pocket.
So it was in your possession?
Yes.
The knife was in your possession?
Yes.
What kind of knife was it?
It was a small pocket knife. The blade was probably that big.
Okay. Do you have a police report? I'd like to see it. You don't have another police report where it's not all blacked out?
I tried to obtain one, but
You can return this.
the Attorney General in Torrance blots out the name of the, ironic to
They
me.
blocked out the name of the perpetrator because there were no charges filed against him.
Yeah, evidently.
Okay. Great. Mr. Adrian,
yes.
You're getting your security deposit back, $1,450. But clearly, unless he was psychic, he didn't know that you had a knife in your possession.
Yes.
If it was in your pocket. But the police found the knife when they placed you under arrest, and they did voucher the knife. Did they take the knife?
They did, yes.
Did they subsequently give it back to you when they released you the next day?
No. The arrest was not for the knife. It was for elderly abuse, which I did not hit him.
Now, the only other thing that I'm going to consider, I'm not considering punitive damages for false arrest. What I am considering is the laptop that you say he kept that belonged to you. Was this an old laptop, sir?
Yes, it was a Windows Vista.
And did you, Mr. Adrian, at some point damage Mr. Horn's computer?
No, I did not.
Did you damage his keyboard and printer?
No.
Did you use his keyboard and printer?
The keyboard that he has, I gave that to him. It was a black keyboard that I gave to him along with a monitor that plugs into a laptop. And the printer, it was not broken. The ink cartridges just weren't working, so it looked as if it was broken.
How many laptops did you have when you left the house on June 21st?
Well, I had 0 because I had a laptop that I brought into the house when I first moved in.
And that was the one that you are claiming that Mr. Horn has?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Other than that laptop, you have no other laptop or no other computer?
No.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Horn. Explain the computer to me.
I saw him steal a laptop from underneath my living room table, as I also saw him steal my iPhone. I did not give him the food. He stole it.
Mr. Horn, let me tell you what your answer is.
That's it.
No, let me tell you what you swore to in your answer.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
you have to have proof that Miss Robinson took your property.
My proof wasn't him, but he's dead.
Listen, I can perform magic, but even that's a little hard for me.
Well, yeah, I wish
if
you
that's the
could.
proof, and he's dead, I can't resurrect him.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Chase Adrian says his former landlord, William Tyler Horn, won't return his security deposit and laptop. He also says William had him falsely arrested for an assault.
Now, you swore in your answer that Mr. Adrian gave you his old computer as payment for your computer.
And then gave me his.
Okay. You have to return his computer to him, and I will give you an order that you can go and get it in the company of a police officer. In addition to that, you get $1,450, which is your security deposit. We're finished. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He was a nice guy at first, but as the months went along,
I would drive him places and, and try to help him out. I bought him a dinner or two.
He was very crazy. He was yelling at himself and just acting very crazy.
And just nothing. He wouldn't clean.
He was mad that I didn't clean my room when he wanted it to be clean.
He wouldn't do anything around the house that he was required to do.
He was mad that I came back late and that I was blasting music.
He started lying, stealing.
I did not steal the iPhone.
Came home from a bike ride, saw him steal it and run down the driveway with it.
Because I already had a phone. he lost his iPhone.
I better know them better like I do the guy that's in there now.
Exactly. I have a dad, and he's not my dad.
Very glad he's gone.
I never want to see him again.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Williams versus Robinson, step forward.
Joylyn Williams is suing her late boyfriend's wife, Brenda Robinson, for the return of a watch and a tablet.
Miss Williams, you had a boyfriend for, according to your complaint.
Reggie.
What was his last name?
Reginald Harmon.
And he passed away when?
He passed away May the 7th.
Of this year?
Oh, yes, this year, sorry.
About a week before that, according to your complaint, you had spent the night with Mr. Harmon, and when you left your watch there and a writing tablet.
Yes.
And within the next couple of days, according to your complaint, Mr. Harmon became ill and was hospitalized.
Yes.
And he never recovered, nor did he return home. He died in the hospital.
Yes.
On what date?
Did he die
on the 7th?
Yes, the 7th.
He died on the 7th. And on what date had you last been to his house?
Yes, I was at his house. It was April the 29th, and I came home on the 30th, which is that Saturday.
Okay. Now, Miss Robinson, you claim that you and Mr. Harmon were married.
Yes, we are.
Well, you're not married anymore because he's dead.
Right.
And you did not live with him.
Not at all.
The last time that you lived with him was when?
Maybe 2006.
Were you notified that he was in the hospital?
I took him.
Tell me how that came about.
He came over to my house the day before and, just talking, and he was seeing the kids. And then he said he didn't feel well. So he laid down. And later on, he left to go home. And then
How old is your daughter?
She's 15.
Go ahead.
And later, I went by to pick her up, and he came downstairs and asked me would I take him to the hospital.
So that's how you knew he was in the hospital?
Yes.
How many children do you and Mr. Harmon have?
2.
15-year-old daughter?
And a 13-year-old son.
And I assume you didn't know that? That's what you suggest.
Those is not his real kids, they stepkids. Yes, I do know that. He told me that Brenda, my kid's mother. So, yes, he do have 3 foster kids by her.
Are these his biological children?
No, they're not.
Okay. Now, this is your complaint. Your complaint is that you believe Miss Robinson has your watch and the tablet.
And the tablet, yes. Because I left it there on the dresser. And how she got the keys is she went to his...
I don't care.
Sorry.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
As she pulled up in the car, she was bringing out this bag. And as she was proceeding to hand her the bag, Joylyn was like, that looked like my watch. And then she, I guess, confronted, she did say something about the watch.
What did Miss Robinson respond?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Joylyn Williams is suing her late boyfriend's wife, Brenda Robinson, for the return of a watch and a tablet.
That Miss Robinson has either, because she says she has neither the watch nor the tablet. Is that correct?
I have never seen it.
Okay. That's what she says.
Okay.
Do you have any proof that she has either the watch or the tablet?
Yes, because she came into the adult center where he works at, which I go to the center. She had the watch on, and I asked her, that's my watch. She drove off and said, this is mine, that's my husband. But, Your Honor, I want to let you know...
Okay, now just a second. When did that happen?
I say like the 3rd day, him in the hospital.
Okay. Now, Miss Robinson, we're not talking about the tablet, we're talking about the watch.
Okay.
Do you recall a conversation that you had with Miss Williams about the watch?
Not at all.
More than one.
Not at all.
Was anyone else present? Tell me your name.
My name is Brenda Larry.
Were you present at the adult center?
Actually, we were sitting outside in the front of the Long Life Adult Care Center. She pulled up in a car. And as she pulled up in the car, she was bringing out this bag. And she had seen Joylyn. She proceeded to give her the bag. And as she was giving her...
Just a second. The defendant was giving Miss Williams a bag?
Yes, ma'am.
What did the bag contain?
No, I seen her and she wanted some pictures that they had. I put the pictures in the bag and gave
So
her.
that's what the bag contained. The bag contained pictures.
Yes.
Okay. So
bag and stuff, and Joylyn was like, that looked like my watch. And then she, I guess, confronted, she did say something about the watch. She got in her car and she sped off, and she drove off.
Did she say anything?
It's not my business to say anything.
No, did she say anything?
She said anything. What did she say to her?
She said, that looks like my watch. What did Miss Robinson respond?
I don't think she was there.
I don't think
Brenda wasn't there when I came to the car.
No.
When I came to the car, Brenda wasn't there. She said, this is mine, that's my husband's stuff. What's my husband is mine, and she drove off.
Yeah.
Burning rubber driving off, too. But these are the pictures she gave me. I couldn't bring it in. Some trying to be funny, some pornos, and a picture of a girl that's not even me. Yes.
I don't.
This is what she gave me, Your Honor. And this is my watch.
May I see those?
And this is the tablet. Tell you about the tablet. How much I paid for it. Receipt.
Miss Robinson, where did you get this watch from?
I've never seen that watch. I didn't hand her no watch at all.
Well, what kind of watch do you wear?
I don't wear a watch.
Where did you get this watch from?
I bought the watch from a girl off the street, but she sell purses and watches and different stuff. I had got it from her.
When?
Christmas last year. And Your Honor, this is my tablet.
How much? I don't care about the tablet.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you have no proof she has the tablet. There were other people who had access to his apartment or his house. So you have to have proof that she has.
I have proof that I have pictures that her friends, and then was all at the house.
That's okay.
And that's showing that they went into the house.
Miss Williams, you have to have proof that she took your property. Now, I believe you when you say she was wearing your watch.
Excuse me. I told Reginald to bring my tablet and my watch to work with him Monday, and he had told me, yeah, but he had passed.
How much did you pay for the watch?
I paid $75 for the watch.
Do you have any proof that you paid $75 for the watch?
No, only proof I got is my tablet.
What kind of watch was it?
It was a Michael Kors watch.
And I assumed it was still running when you left it at Reggie's house.
Yeah, it was still ticking.
Anything else?
My tablet. Your Honor, she took my stuff. Brenda knows she took my stuff.
Miss Williams, I tried to explain it to you. I'm going to explain it to you once more.
Okay, I'm okay.
You have to have proof
He's dead.
that Miss Robinson took your property. That's the tablet.
Well, my proof was him, but he's dead. And this dead cannot talk.
I can't even.
Well, yep, I wish you could.
If that's the proof and he's dead, I can't resurrect him. Yeah. Do you understand?
I wish you could.
But I believe she had your watch. And I don't know exactly how much you paid for it, but you say you paid $75 for it from somebody on the street. I'm awarding you the $75.
Okay, that's fine.
Done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
She should be paying child support.
An ex-wife comes up short.
She was paying regularly and then just stopped.
And the new wife has to have her say.
There had been a decline in her behavior.
I don't think it's a good idea for you to discuss that.
Judge Judy.
Well, I was kind of disappointed because he can't speak for me, but my tablet and watch was there.
Because I don't wear watch. My wrist is too little for watches. I don't wear watches.
If I get paid for the tablet, for the watch, why are you not going to pay me for the tablet? Both of them sitting in the same spot.
The situation at the hospital, I'm done with it. I just rather not.
But like I said, the dead can't talk, so I don't have no evidence for as that.
I mean, I didn't pay no attention. I ignored it.
Rest in peace, Reggie. I love you.
I'm having a good time down here, thanks.
That's a shame.
Her ex is quick to mouth off.
I loaned Chris $8,500.
I don't owe her any money.
Show me the emails.
But will his comments come back to bite him?
Now I'm going to hear your counterclaim. Let's do it and talk fast.
If it wouldn't cut me off, I'd be able to talk fast.
What did he just say?
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Sarah Wenzel is suing her ex-boyfriend, Christopher Wood, for a loan to buy a Harley-Davidson and for harassment.
Order. All rise. Now, it's case number 247 on the calendar in the matter of Wenzel versus Wood.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Mr. Wood, I'm going to start with you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay? Because I see that you're here and you have no evidence in front of you. A little piece.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's all you need. That must be for tinted windows.
An exhaust system. My countersuit.
Now, she has a whole bunch of papers. You have a whole bunch of papers there?
I do.
And your lawsuit claims that he owes you money for a loan that you took out for him for a motorcycle?
Yes, ma'am.
And it was at a time when, despite the fact that you're neighbors and you've been neighbors for a while, you briefly dated.
Yes, Your Honor.
And it was during this time that you were dating that you also have another part of your lawsuit for harassment, annoying behavior. I don't know if I'm going to bother with that. But what I want to know is, what proof do you have to show me that you actually took out a loan for him and gave him the money to buy this bike, because he says he has never taken a dime from you?
Your Honor, I have text messages from the day that I was at the bank taking out the personal loan to loan him the money for the motorcycle.
For him?
For Chris.
For Chris. And Chris responded to you?
He did.
In text messages?
He did.
Okay, then stop. Okay. Now, she has that.
I'd like to see that.
I'm going to see it.
Awesome.
So when did you give him money, in what month and year, to buy a motorcycle?
I loaned Chris the money on March 5th, 2015, in the amount of $8,500.
If you checked DMV records, would it indicate that there was a transfer of title to you for a motorcycle on or about the 5th of March, or the 7th of March, or the 10th of March, 2015?
No, Your Honor.
So you did not purchase a motorcycle in that year?
I've purchased 3 motorcycles in that year.
Year. When?
I purchased the last one a few weeks ago.
No, 2015.
Purchased one the middle of January.
January 2015?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Purchased another one.
That's what we're talking about,
Yeah,
March.
we're not talking about...
No, we're talking about March. So you did purchase one in March?
Yeah,
Good.
at the end of March is when
2015.
I purchased one. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now tell me the circumstances surrounding you taking out this loan for him.
I moved into the house that I live in February 1st, 2015. I'm 4 houses down from Chris. Chris and I struck up a friendship. We began hanging out. Everything. We got along
very
great.
nice. Great. Hanging out.
He came to me the first week in March and said that he had found a motorcycle from a private party up near Sacramento, California. The person selling the bike was asking $7,500, and he said the bike was worth almost twice that much. He asked he could borrow the money from me, and he promised to pay me back 3 to 4 months later.
From what?
He promised to pay me back the loan amount.
From what money?
From the loan. I took a loan out from the bank.
I understand. From what was he going to pay you back in 3 or 4 months? From his paycheck? Was he going to sell this motorcycle?
He told me that he was going to turn around and sell the bike for double what it was worth. He said $14,000. And
And he didn't have the money?
He didn't have the money.
What do you do for a living?
I am a registered dental assistant.
Do you work for a dentist full-time?
I do.
Same dentist?
Yes, for 14 years.
And what do you do, Mr. Wood, for a living?
I'm a tattoo artist.
Do you have for how long?
I've been a tattoo artist for 25 years.
I'm talking about the person that you're currently working for. How long have you been working for them?
2.5 years.
Are you paid by check or cash?
Cash. I get paid by check by my other job. I run a CNC machine.
You get paid in cash by the tattoo parlor that you work for.
Yes, sure.
How? Because I asked you how you supported yourself. You said I'm a tattoo artist. You didn't tell me about another job. How much do you make as a tattoo artist?
Depends on the piece.
Well, if you say that that's your living, how much do you make a week?
I don't know, maybe $600 a week.
And in your other job where you get paid by check, what kind of job is that?
I'm a setup technician on a CNC machine. I make aluminum rims, motorcycle parts.
And the name of the company that you work for?
All tech, technology. I'm not sure what that has to do with this case, but okay.
How long have you worked for them?
For a year.
You work an 80-hour week?
No.
You work a 40-hour week?
25 hours a week.
So you're not a full-time employee?
Nope.
How much do you get paid from them?
Probably $400 a week.
Okay, so we're now in March 5th, 2015. He's got this great opportunity to buy a motorcycle. Tell me what you did.
That morning, I went to Coast Hills Federal Credit Union and applied for a personal loan in the amount of $8,500.
Why?
Chris had asked me...
Well, if he asked you for $75, why did you apply for $85?
He had an additional $1,000 to pay for the tax license and registration on the bike.
That's funny.
Okay. Keep going.
I did get approved for the loan for $8,500, and I met him afterwards with the cash. That evening, he drove up to Sacramento with Lauren to pick up the motorcycle. His
what?
His roommate.
His roommate?
Yes. And sent me pictures of the bike, promised to pay me, again, on time. Within 3 to 4 months, he would have the full amount paid off back to me in cash.
Show me. He says you never gave him any money.
I have text messages from that day.
Did you take this from your phone?
I did.
I'd like to see it on your phone.
Well, Your Honor, Chris broke my phone. He punched my phone, but this is the phone that has all the evidence.
Wow. I'd like to see it.
Okay.
No, I don't want to see it. I want you to get it up so I can read it.
I can't turn it on. It won't turn on.
Go figure.
When did he break your phone?
The following month, in April.
In 2015?
Yes.
So how did you manage to get these?
Shortly after I loaned him the motorcycle loan money,
How did you manage to get these?
I emailed them to myself at that point. And one night I went through and I emailed some text messages to myself. And then shortly after, he broke
Show me the emails.
Those are, I have them.
No, I want to see them on a machine.
Do you want them on my, I can show you on my phone.
It's taking a long time to see.
I have nothing but time.
I do too. I'm having a good time down here, thanks.
That's a shame.
Well, not for me. It gets me out of town.
Your Honor, I have these on my phone, but I would have to go all the way through from...
I have time.
She just said she had plenty of time.
Sir. Don't do that, okay?
Yes, sir. Your Honor, in regards to that, can I show you my text messages from her recently of her sending me pictures of herself? You know, she's saying all this stuff. Well, I mean, I got my stuff ready right here, so I don't have a huge stack of papers.
It's not your turn yet, Mr. Wood.
Okay.
You have to wait your turn.
Yes, Your Honor.
While she's looking for that, why don't you stand up here? I have a few questions for you.
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you and Mr. Wood been roommates?
Oh, we've been roommates for, what, 3 years?
Don't look at him. Look at me. How long have you been roommates with Mr. Wood?
Prior to that, we lived in another residence together for 6 years. I've known Mr. Wood for a long time.
And your relationship with him is strictly as a roommate?
It's been other things, but at the time, yes, we're roommates. And at the time that this happened, we...
I got it.
All right, good.
Okay, so you're on and off roommates, on and off social.
Correct.
Are you on social time now?
No.
Or roommate time now?
Roommate time for quite a while.
Do you remember going to pick up the motorcycle?
No.
In March?
No, I don't recall this.
Did you ever go and pick up a motorcycle with him?
Yeah, several times.
This motorcycle was where, Miss Wenzel?
Up near Sacramento, California.
Do you remember that?
No, I don't. We would have had to get a trailer to get a motorcycle, and we haven't been in a possession of a trailer for a long time. We normally buy local.
Your Honor, that's not true.
Shh. Do you have a car?
I have a car, yes.
And Mr. Wood not only buys motorcycles, but he rides them.
Correct.
So all you needed was a ride one way. You don't need a trailer because he could ride the motorcycle back.
Not necessarily, because sometimes they're not working.
Well, this one was working because it cost $7,500.
Okay, well...
So this one was working, and it was capable of being driven because Mr. Wood's not a stupid man, is he?
Well, no.
So he wouldn't spend $7,500 on a non-work...
$500 on a...
Ever?
No. I buy Dynas, Harley Dynas for $5 to $6 grand. I never exceed that because then I can't double my profit, so...
Okay, did we find anything yet?
I'm still, every time I go back, it brings me back up. I have them on here. I emailed them to myself. They're in here. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I would have saved them higher up here if I had known.
Yeah, because this is nothing.
Right.
Other than the emails, photographs that you took a photograph, a snapshot of your phone, is that what you did, and then emailed it to yourself?
Of my broken phone?
Of the text messages,
Yes,
Miss Wenzel.
Your Honor.
Is that what you did? You took a photograph of your phone.
I screenshotted it and emailed it to myself.
And you did that because, just for my own information, why would you do that if it was on your phone?
Chris started exhibiting some aggressive behavior towards me, and by the time the first loan payment was due on April 19th of 2015, I called him 2 days prior on the 17th and asked him for the money, and he told me, now's not the time to be asking me for this. I don't have time for this. And my concern immediately was that he was not going to be paying me for the loan.
Okay, now I want you to tell me the date that he destroyed your phone, and then we're going to take a recess. And
He destroyed my phone around the middle of April 2015.
Tell me how.
My phone had gone off, and he picked it up and was reading a text message from a friend. Ring.
Which friend?
My friend Jesse.
Okay, we're going to take a break. You're going to go find it, and as soon as you find it, I'm going to come back. Good. Oh, great. Perfect. Just in the nick of time.
I'll star those for you. They're the starred ones right there. She just has to click on it.
I don't want to even touch it. I'm afraid I'll touch it and it'll go. Who's Gleason?
My daughter's dad.
Iced. Would you have her get it back, please?
Your Honor, may I speak while we have a few moments? Having known Chris for so long, I know that he's a really resourceful person. If he hypothetically needed this money to buy a motorcycle, he would figure out a way to make that money.
Sit down.
Yes, ma'am.
He figured out a very resourceful way of getting the money.
Why wouldn't she get a contract written out? I mean, that's what I would do.
Am I addressing you?
No, ma'am.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You damaged my credit. You didn't loan me any money, you psycho. Okay, well, it certainly appears, sir, that you didn't like each other at some point. Okay. Now I'm going to hear what you have to say. Tell me who you are.
Judge Judy.
Sarah Wenzel says, ex-boyfriend Christopher Wood owes for a loan and for harassment. Christopher is countersuing for window tinting and an exhaust system.
Now, $8,500, right? I'm applying for it right now. That's what I want to see. And he says, yes, babe. Hope he still has the bike. I want to see that on the machine.
Yes, I know my phone's thinking right now.
All I want to see is what this says on there. Got it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything else you want to show me?
Your Honor, I have copies of the payments for the loan. During the last year and a half, more recently, I've had to call the local police department for Chris harassing me.
Let's not get into harassment.
Okay.
Let us get into loan. What other proof do you have other than this, which is some evidence that he was happy that you were getting $8,500 and he still hoped that they had the bike, and that was in March of 2015. Let me see what proof you have, if you have any, that he made the first few payments, because he did make payments.
He did, Your Honor. I have copies made and the months that he paid me.
Just a second. Did he pay you or did he pay the bank?
He paid me in cash. And then I would go to the bank and make the payment. He refused to go to the bank and make the payment.
How much did he pay you in cash?
$2,800. He made 10 payments.
And what were the monthly payments?
$280.
When did he stop making the payments?
He stopped in December of 15, and then I did receive one payment from him, which is April of 2016. That was the last payment I received from him.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding that payment in April of 2016.
I just continued to call him and text him, and...
Well, that would be on the new phone.
Right, on my newer phone.
On your newer phone?
Right.
I'd like you to show me some of those texts.
Okay, I have.
On the newer phone.
She texts me a bunch of times harassing me, and I've asked her numerous times to stop texting me.
Your Honor, may I introduce to you my witness?
No, I want you to do exactly what I want, which is to get me the recent texts after April of this year, or even before April when he made the last payment. It was a result of you constantly texting him and trying to get him to make a payment, and that you should have on your new phone.
Scrolling through all the naked pictures sent me.
I'm not looking at your phone, Mr. Wood. You have no cause of action that requires that I look at your phone.
Reading
Put it away.
Oh, okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Now I'm going to hear your counterclaim.
I paid to get her
Let's
windows
do it
tinted.
and talk fast.
I'm sorry?
Let's do it and talk fast.
That's all. Well, if it wouldn't cut me off, I'd be able to talk fast.
What did he just say?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Sarah Wenzel has accused ex-boyfriend Christopher Wood of owing for a loan and harassment. Christopher has a countersuit for window tinting and an exhaust system.
Now, what I'm really interested in, Ms. Wood, since we have a question as to not whether there was a loan, but if ever money was transferred from you to Mr. Wood, I understand that you took out a loan. What I want to see is him acknowledging, other than what I've seen so far, listen to me, I don't need it from you. I need it from him. Do you understand? So sit on your hands. Don't raise your hand again.
Exactly.
Got it? It would have been sometime in March if he paid you in April.
Your Honor, if you click on these are all regarding the loan.
Great. You show it to Bird. He knows how to click. I don't know how to click.
So just click on it and then you can arrow back. So the first one is from, you can just go.
You're going so well. I'm not touching it.
Okay.
You didn't loan me any money, you psycho. I don't have a loan through you. I loaned you money, and in February and March, plus $6,500 you owe for the loan. You've damaged my credit. You didn't loan me any money, you psycho. Is there a thing here? I didn't loan you any money. Okay, well, it certainly appears, sir, that you didn't like each other at some point. Okay. Now I'm going to hear what you have to say. Tell me who you are.
My name's Christina, and I've worked with Sarah for 10 years. I witnessed Mr. Wood twice in the summer of 2015 come by our office. One time I was inside, and I witnessed him hand her money out the driver's window of his pickup. She went right after that and told me she was running to make the loan payment. And I also witnessed him come into our office one day, and she said, "Do you have my money for the loan payment?" And he said, "Later, afterwards."
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I've gone to her work numerous times. She gives me boxes of gloves at a wholesale cost.
You
I
owe her
pay
the
for
money.
gloves. No.
You do.
Yeah.
You owe the rest of the loan. Now I'm going to hear your counterclaim.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now I'm going to hear your counterclaim.
I paid to get her
Let's
windows
do it
tinted.
and talk fast.
I'm sorry?
Let's do it and talk fast.
That's all. Well, if it wouldn't cut me off, I'd be able to talk fast.
What did he just say?
If you didn't cut him off, maybe he'd talk fast.
Okay, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. Your counterclaim is dismissed.
Wow.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Good move.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He became aggressive. He didn't want to contact me.
I stopped talking to her. She got mad. She got her feelings hurt.
He would block my cell phone number, my work number, my home number.
She got a 5-year-old that looked up to me. I didn't want anything to do with her.
He insisted on putting a muffler on my car so he could hear my vehicle as I would pull in and out of our cul-de-sac.
Brought in my evidence, but kind of bit the bullet at the end, so.
He would watch me from cameras inside his home, and he stalked me.
Should have kept my mouth closed towards the end.
He preyed upon me. He's that kind of person.
She's my neighbor.
My gut feeling and move on.
I'm just glad it's done and over with.
You did the right thing by taking her to court. She should be paying child support.
An ex-wife comes up short.
How do you support yourself?
I just got laid off, so I am unemployed right now.
A dad grows impatient.
She was paying regularly, $20 here, $100 here. Everything just stopped.
When she lost her job.
No, she was still working.
And the new wife has to have her say.
There had been a decline in her behavior.
I don't think it's a good idea for you to discuss that.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Gary Copeland is suing his ex-wife, Denisha Copeland, for her share of their son's extracurricular activities and orthodontic bills.
Order. All rise.
It's case number 254 on the calendar in the matter of Copeland versus Copeland.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Mr. Copeland, the defendant is your former wife.
Yes.
You have 2 children, and according to what I read, you were divorced in 2006.
Yes.
How old are your
She's 14.
And when you divorced, Robert lived with you?
No, he was living with the grandmother. I was incarcerated.
When did Robert come to live with you?
December 2011.
And your other son?
Xavier, he moved in with me of May of last year.
Prior to that, was he living with his mother?
Yeah.
And in your divorce, was there any mention of child support?
No.
Were you incarcerated at the time of the divorce?
Yes.
Okay, so you divorced him while he was incarcerated?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what was the date of your release?
July of 2007.
Haven't been back?
Nope.
Good for you. Okay, this is what the case is about. I assume that neither one of you has, over the course of the last 10 years, paid child support to the other. Is that correct?
No.
Have you paid child support to her? No.
No.
And you have not paid child support to him?
No.
Each of you had one child living with you, and that sounded like a reasonable thing to do. You took care of your son's expenses, of Xavier's expenses, and you took care of Robert's expenses. Reasonable. But last year, Xavier decided he wanted to live with you. And they're both in high school. This is what the case is about, and have many extracurricular activities. And Xavier had some dental expenses.
Robert did.
Robert had some dental expenses. And according to you, your former wife agreed to split those expenses with you, because now you have both boys living with you. And that's a little over $2,000. I'm going to start with you, Mrs. Copeland. How do you support yourself?
I just got laid off. I was working at Save Mart. I was a clerical worker. I was there for 3 years, but they just closed that company down, so I am unemployed right now.
As of what date?
August 18th.
You receive unemployment insurance benefits?
I have not received it yet, so I'm waiting. But I will be getting it, and they said I will be getting like $3.99 a week, but I have not received it at all.
Who do you
yet.
live with?
I live by myself.
What's your rent?
My rent is $700 a month.
How'd you manage to pay your rent in September?
Well, I'm not going to have my apartment anymore, so I gave a 60-day notice, so, because I'm not going to be able to pay it.
Where are you moving?
That I don't know yet.
You have an idea.
I think I'm probably going to share, rent a room from somebody, because I do not have the money. I'm going to go back to school, so they're going to pay, EDD is going to pay for me to go to school, so.
Have you tried to find another job?
Well,
since August?
I'm going to go to school. The EDD is offering, since it was such a major layoff, they're offering to pay for us to go to school. So I want to go to learn how to take blood to be a phlebotomist. That's what I'm going to go into.
And how are you going to support yourself while you do that?
I'll get unemployment while I'm going to school. And the class that I want to take to be a phlebotomist is not very long. It's like a 4-month class doing.
Did you discuss that with your former husband?
We really don't talk much.
Do you see both Xavier and Robert?
Yeah, I'm supposed to get them on the 2nd and 4th weekend of the month. Although usually when it's my time to see Robert. Since he's 17, he has a job, he has a girlfriend, he usually has things to do, and so he doesn't come much.
And Xavier?
Xavier comes, he comes.
When did you have this conversation with Mrs. Copeland about sharing expenses? What month?
May of last year, when Xavier moved in with me.
So he was with you September of 2015? October of 2015,
all during the summer.
November, December, the entire 2015, and part of 2016. So you did have expenses. Tell me when you first asked Mrs. Copeland to pay any of those expenses.
As soon as they started arising.
Well, let me see. Do you have anything in writing?
It's all labeled, and the pages are behind it. It's all the receipts.
No, I'm not looking for the receipts. I'm asking you when, Mr. Copeland, you first said to her, because then she was working in 2015, when you first said to her, I need to pay some of these expenses.
June 3rd, that's when she made the first payment, so that's basically when she's...
Your Honor, if I may approach the bench.
Just a second.
Okay.
See, at the very bottom, those are when she made the payments. She was coming $20 here, $100 here, and then just stopped. Everything just stopped.
When did it stop?
That last payment, August 9th.
August of this year?
Yeah.
When she lost her job?
No, she was still working.
And she's currently working.
She's currently working right now.
Where?
Can I sit more evidence right here?
Absolutely.
These are the screenshots where she's working. These are the ads she's working. And here's the screenshots just going up. So she's working. Just have her screenshot up. A lot of the days she's supposed to pick up the boys, those are the dates she's, just scroll up. Those are all the days she's been doing it. And that's how she's been supporting herself, I believe.
Could be. Should return this. This is what I'm going to suggest that you do, Mr. Copeland. You see, what you're doing is you're coming to me, you and your former wife made an agreement instead of going to family court and saying, well, we each don't have a child living with us anymore. What we have is we have me taking care of both boys. So I need a formal order, or we can work it out. If you went to family court and got a formal order, if she was working, and she was working then, she would have had to have paid a certain amount of money to you. You chose to deal with this in another way, independently, which is fine. And she was paying you bits of money, 20 here,
Yeah.
40 here, 100 here. But at this point, she's coming in and she's saying to me, I have no regular source of income. And if you were in family court, she would be making a request for the family court order of support to be suspended while she's unemployed, or take a certain amount of money from her unemployment insurance every week, which you would be entitled to. What kind of work do you do?
Maintenance worker?
You work for the same company?
No.
Explain that to me.
Prior to the beginning of the year, I was working the refineries. That's like a contractor's job, off and on. So I got hired on as a maintenance worker at a bottling plant. So I full-time.
And you're remarried?
Yeah.
This is your wife?
Yes.
She works?
Yep.
You have any other children other than these two boys?
Yep.
How old are they?
7, 9, and 10.
And the 7, 10, and 9-year-olds are your biological
Just
children?
the youngest one.
Just the 7-year-old?
Yeah.
And the 9 and 10-year-old are yours from previous marriage, but you work?
Yes, I do work.
So it's very nice that you want to go to school, and I think it's probably a very wise idea. But you will be collecting unemployment money out of your unemployment insurance every week. Well, how much do you intend to pay him?
I have no problem giving anything. Like, he's going after me for child support. I have to go to court on November. I just received that in the mail, too. So I'll be going to child support court on November 16th, I believe. I'm going to child support. Oh, yeah, 15th of November.
That will be taken care of? Yes.
I'm on a divorce. They said the child support was to be reserved. The child support I'm going after for November this is from stuff from behind us. The child support is a whole different thing.
No, it isn't.
No?
No.
Okay.
No, it isn't.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I certainly hope that the court sets an amount that's reasonable, because they should be able to rely on you contributing to the support of your minor children. Going back to school is very nice, but you have children and you have a responsibility to them.
And later today,
you said you got pulled over and you got a ticket for having the baby in the wrong kind of a car restraint. You didn't say anything. It was your fault that brought the car's attention to the state trooper to begin with.
Yeah.
You left that out.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Gary Copeland says ex-wife Denisha Copeland owes for her share of their 17-year-old son's expenses.
She lost her job, which your memo, which you prepared for this case, seems to indicate. And she was, in fact, contributing something until her circumstance changed, and that was well over a year, right? You're going to have to go to court and get an order of support. And you can ask the court to make it retroactive to a date in August.
Okay.
And they will fix what they deem to be a reasonable order retroactively. But I'm not getting involved with, I just bought Xavier a jacket and your portion of the jacket is $25. I mean, you did the right thing by taking her to court. She should be paying child support. Your wife has children. She works. She contributes to their support. Well, so did she.
Can I approach the bench?
Sure. No, don't approach the bench. You can stand there.
Okay, thank you.
No, there.
Okay, so the reason that we had started to document this and the reason that we are coming here today is because the payments were never consistent. Just to give you an example, Robert had his braces that were coming up. The down payment was $500. I had given her a 6-month period to make that payment, which we had never received a payment towards that in 6 months. So
why didn't you go back to court then?
Because there was never a court order.
But that's what you're doing now.
Well, yeah, so that's what happened. So the verbal agreement was working very well for us. We were having a very good open communication. We noticed that there had been a decline in her behavior. We were doing things as a family prior to that. It came abruptly to a stop. Her behavior changed 8 months ago. 4 months ago, it was complete stop of making the payments and the communication. That's why we're here today, is because we are now dealing with financial responsibility of the braces, which was...
Is what you're really talking about, the braces? Because I'm telling you, I'm not getting involved in a jacket.
The braces? The braces, yes.
Fine. Let's talk about the braces.
Okay.
Who are the braces for?
Robert.
Now, Robert was initially your responsibility.
Yeah.
He's lived with you. When did you have the discussion with your former wife about the braces for Robert?
January.
January of this year?
Yep.
How much were the braces?
This is the one here. Braces. There's a braces.
Mrs. Copeland, how much were the braces?
I believe they were like 2,000 and something, which I have medical. I have Kaiser for the next 3 months. Even though I got laid off, I still have medical. And my Kaiser paid for some of those braces.
Just a second.
But I think it's like 2,000, something
Just
like
a second.
that.
Were the braces $2,000?
$5,800.
I'd like to see it.
That's the additional cost.
Now, you had a discussion with her in January. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yes.
Did any of her insurance cover any portion of the braces?
Yes, it did.
I have insurance as well that covers them.
So it was a double insurance.
Yes.
Okay. So your out-of-pocket expenses were half of this $5,800.
Yes.
Did you make any payments whatsoever other than insurance?
I believe that I did come and bring Gary some money for the braces. I don't know if it was like when I made like the $100 and something payment, but it was something towards. I know I got it. They were like it was supposed to be $67 something a month I was supposed to give them, and I did go and take Gary a payment.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You say she took the citation from me and reiterated that she would pay it. But it wasn't her ticket, it was your ticket.
Yeah.
But you needed the citation to pay the ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. What, am I talking to myself?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Gary Copeland says ex-wife Denisha Copeland owes for her share of their 17-year-old son's expenses.
Okay, let us say that she owes half of what the balance was, which was $2,400 after insurance, which would bring her portion down to $1,200. Did she make any payments towards the $1,200?
The one payment.
What you remember?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Your child support obligations are going to be fixed by a court in November. I certainly hope that the court sets an amount that's reasonable, but it should be consistent because they should be able to rely on you contributing to the support of your minor children, no different from if you were a guy who decided to go back to school. Going back to school is very nice, but you have children and you have a responsibility to them. I think that you did acknowledge that you agreed to pay for half of the unreimbursed dental costs for your son, because that's evidenced by the fact that you said, I did make a payment, right? Your portion was $1,200. If you made a $67 payment, the balance is $1,133, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Judgment for the plaintiff. They're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I believe that she made the right decision.
I'm happy with the decision.
I just think they're kind of money hungry right now.
For the kids, I go without and she don't.
When my kids turn 18, I don't have to deal with him anymore.
I'm happy with that.
Really choose who you have your kids with, because you have to deal with them for the rest of your life.
Do what's right for the kids and don't worry about the eggs.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Berry versus Russell. Step forward.
21-year-old Asia Berry is suing her former friend, 20-year-old Onisha Russell, for an unpaid traffic ticket and late fees.
Miss Berry, do you have any children?
Yes.
She has one child?
One child.
A baby?
A baby.
How old?
She's 2 at the moment. No, actually 3 now.
Some time ago, you and Miss Russell were going someplace. Where were you going?
We was going to pay a deposit for an apartment we was getting ready to move into.
Did you ever move into that apartment together?
Yes.
How long did you live together?
About a good 3 months. I moved out because she's very controlling.
When you were going to make the deposit, according to you, Miss Russell put her baby in a baby seat in your car.
Yes.
So tell me, what did you use as a car seat?
It was like a little mini mouse, like a little high chair booster. It's like both. It's a high chair and a booster seat at the moment.
It's a high chair.
Mm-hmm.
What happened is you got pulled over by the police?
Yes.
For what?
For driving slow in a fast lane.
Did you get a ticket for that?
I did.
How much was the ticket?
I don't recall, Your Honor.
Did you pay the ticket?
Yes, along with her ticket.
Just a second. You paid your ticket?
Yes.
When did you pay your ticket?
The same time I paid the whole ticket.
No, that's not my question. When did you pay the ticket?
February 24, 2016.
When were you supposed to pay it?
30 days prior to the time.
So you had penalties?
Yeah.
A lot of penalties?
I did.
And all those penalties together added up to what amount?
$485.
Both tickets?
Yes.
Okay. You got pulled over for driving too slow, but you also got a ticket for having her baby in the wrong kind of car seat.
Yes.
And that ticket was given to you
yes.
as the driver of the car.
Yes.
How many pieces of paper did the police officer give you?
1.
For both tickets?
Yeah.
So now you are going to explain to me why you're suing her for $948.
I'm suing her for that, for her unpaid ticket and late fees, but I also know half of those tickets belong to me.
I wouldn't have known that unless I asked you that question, because you didn't say anything about that in your complaint.
Yeah.
You said you got pulled over and you got a ticket for having the baby in the wrong kind of a car restraint.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't say anything. It was your fault that brought the car's attention to the state trooper to begin with.
Yeah.
You left that out.
Mm-hmm.
And you just told me that both tickets together with fines and penalties were $485.
Yeah.
And it was all on one ticket. So
Yeah.
when you said here, and I may be wrong, you say she took the citation from me and reiterated that she would pay it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't her ticket, it was your ticket.
Yeah. But she told me she would pay for her child's part of the ticket because it's her child.
Just a second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the whole ticket. You say she took the citation from me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. What, am I talking to myself?
No.
Where's the $985?
With the late fees I paid.
Show me. I thought you said it was $485.
Here's the $485 I paid for the late fees.
Yes,
And
you did.
here is the ticket I paid for St. John Parish.
I don't know if these are two different amounts.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, I don't know what this is for. They're both on the date of the notice is February 24th, 2016.
That's the papers the DMV gave me.
I can't help you. Not only can I help you, I don't want to help you. The reason that the car was pulled over is because you were not driving properly.
Mm-hmm.
You also, as the owner of the car, are responsible to see to it that a child who was in your car is in an appropriate seat.
But she's the mother. I assume she strapped her down securely. I don't have no children, Your Honor.
Well, if you're going to take a child in your car, you better know what kind of car seat you're required to have.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Good, because I have no idea. One ticket.
Yeah.
Do you have any indication of what her portion of the ticket is?
No.
Good. Makes my job so much easier. Thank you. We're done.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I feel she should be responsible of her child.
I think it was very fair because at the end of the day, she should have came with the correct paperwork.
And she should have put her in the proper car seat.
It was her fault.
Very terrible. I no longer deal with her.
I don't care about her. It's a done deal. I'm done.
Your rent was $300.
He raised it to $500.
And then he raised it another $100.
Yes.
The cost of her room went through the roof.
It's a free America. That's his choice.
So she chose to make excuses instead of paying.
There was 24 violations from housing.
If he wants to live like a pig in his house, he could live like a pig in his house. And you have a choice to move elsewhere. Move!
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
24-year-old Tierra Kelly is suing her former landlord, Marvin Augustus, for the return of rent.
Order. All rise.
In this case number 276 on the calendar in the matter of Kelly versus Augustus.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Miss Kelly, you were a tenant of Mr. Augustus for a period of time, and you claim several things. You claim you overpaid him in rent, which he raised your rent from an initial $300. He raised it to $600. And according to you, that was in violation of the law. And in addition, you say he put some of your things outside, and they were damaged. That's your case. Mr. Augustus says that he owns a private home, and it was ultimately determined that he could charge whatever rent he wants to someone who's renting a room in his private home.
That's correct.
And that you lived there without paying rent from May until October. And in addition, you made some false allegations to the housing authority against him, and that was back in the beginning of the summer. And despite the fact that you reported him to the housing authority for maintaining unsavory living conditions. You elected to stay there until October without paying rent, so he has a counterclaim. All right, let's take care of the easy things first. You moved in on what date, Miss Kelly?
August 2014.
And you moved out on what date?
I'm a waitress. I do bottle serving in clubs or events, things like that.
Okay. So you lived there for 2 years?
Yeah.
And I assume you had options as far as living places?
No. I'm from New York, so I came out here and...
Well, of course you have options. If things are unsafe, unsanitary, they're too expensive,
if I don't have family...
You move. That's what you do. People who don't like where they're living, they move. Now, when you moved in, your rent was $300.
Yes.
When did he raise it to $600?
He raised it to $500 first.
When?
January 2015. And then he
$500 first, and you agreed to pay him the $500?
Yes, because I had nowhere else to go.
And then when did he raise it again?
January 2016.
He raised it another $100?
Yes.
Did you have your own room in his house?
Yes.
Any other boarders in his house?
No.
Did he also live there?
Yes.
How long have you been renting a room, Mr. Augustus, in your house?
Well, I had two sisters living with me. They moved in around June of 2014. And
had you ever rented a room to anyone?
No, not prior to the two sisters. I always stayed in my house by myself.
Okay. Now, you're going to show me an official document, and Mr. Augustus is going to show me an official document, and your official document is going to say he overcharged you rent because of something, and your official document, do you have that document?
I'm sorry, Judge Judy, I can't hear you.
Okay. Who are you?
Stacy, I'm his daughter.
Could you stand up, please? Tell me your name.
Stacy McKellar.
Miss McKellar, do you have a document from the city indicating that he is not subject to any rent control?
Yes, ma'am.
You do, and you have one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'd like to see it. So that will take care of one issue. Okay, your letter is dated August 4th of 2016.
He got his...
Just a second, I'm reading it. Okay, so this is from the Los Angeles Housing Authority, and it says, Mr. Augustus, we have reviewed a complaint, and it was for an illegal eviction and illegal rent increase. And it says, under the Rent Stabilization Office, rent may be increased a certain amount. You increased her rent too much, and therefore you have to repay her that rent. Then in September, which is a month later, this is also from the Los Angeles Housing Authority, a review of the applicability of the Los Angeles Rent Stabilization Ordinance to this property has been completed. Our review of the available property records indicate that the house located on this stabilization ordinances because it is a single-family dwelling. Single-family dwellings are also exempt from systemic code enforcement program, and their records will be updated to reflect the exemption for this property. Okay? So, did you see this letter?
Yeah, but
just
they
a second.
lied. Yes.
All I'm asking is, you saw this letter?
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, so that takes care of your overpayment.
How does that take over overpayment if he already signed before, even after he got that letter, he already signed that he was going to give me money for the overpayment. And they lied because there's another building in the back, someone pays rent, and his daughter only popped up.
I'm going to explain it to you.
I know, I'm just telling you.
I'm going to explain it to you. The explanation is somebody in August didn't do their homework and examine his property and pay attention, and didn't do their homework and looked and said, well, he can't raise rent from $300 to $600 because that's too much of an increase. So they sent you this letter. Based upon this letter, he agreed to pay you the overpayment that they said that he, stop shaking, that he said that they had to pay you. He evidently appealed it. When they did, they said, whoops, sorry, somebody sent this in August and they shouldn't have. You live in a private house, and if you want to rent a room, and if somebody wants to pay you $10,000 a month for the private room in a single-family dwelling that's not subject to rent stabilization, you can charge whatever you want. That's what the later letter indicates.
Can I say something?
You can say whatever you want. I've just explained it to you.
I know, but can I speak up on something?
You can tell me whatever you want.
Well, I'm going to let you know why later that popped up, because after we already settled where he had to pay money, he still didn't want to pay me money because he knew he was wrong. I have a letter from the health department stating how the house was not safety at all. There was 24 violations from housing, period, where he shouldn't have been living there in that type of living condition.
Move!
I did move. I did move. I wasn't going to leave anywhere, and I had nowhere place to go, and someone just throws my stuff out. His daughter wasn't even there for 2 years in a picture. She popped up and lied. There is another dwelling in their back house.
Listen to me. I'm just reading.
I understand what you're reading, but what I'm telling you, that is not facts. That is not the truth.
No, this is fact.
When they're lying to housing and they're telling that they didn't...
Blueprint. Shh. Listen to me. You're not getting any money. Now, this is a free country. You work, you make a living.
And he
listen, careful. You work, you make a living. If the living conditions that Mr. Augustus chooses to live in his own private house are unacceptable for anybody, you shouldn't live there. It's his house. If he wants to live like a pig in his house, he could live like a pig in his house. I don't know if his house is a pigsty, but if he wants to live there, it's a free America. That's his choice. You, on the other hand, don't own that house, and you have a choice to move elsewhere. You're supposed to be paying $600 a month rent. So what you did, according to Mr. Augustus, is you stopped paying rent in May.
No.
But you still, just a second, well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
But you still lived there in May, June, July, August, and September for 5 months, despite the fact that it was so terrible, you still lived there. So my next question to you is, if the conditions were so terrible, and you lived there, because it's clear from both of your papers, May, June, July, August, September, and you moved out in October, did you pay rent for those months?
No.
Well, that comes under my story if you go into a restaurant and order a steak. You're a waitress. Go into a restaurant and order a steak from you. You're the waitress. Mm-hmm. And you serve the steak, and the person that ordered the steak finishes the steak, and then you give them a bill. And they said, we're not paying for the steak. We didn't like it. And they walk out. Does your boss take that out of your wages that you let somebody eat for free?
That's but not in this case. I couldn't compare that to this case.
Just a second. If you eat the steak, you have to pay for it. So you lived in the house May, June, July, August, and September. You lived in this house that you say was terrible. You called the health department.
Can I tell you why I stayed that long? Because in May, I received a 3-day notice where he told me he was just going to kick me out, and I had to just leave and pay that money, and he threw my things out. He threw my things out then, where I had to call the cops on him. He never served me an eviction notice.
You're not answering my question.
But I'm saying why I stayed that long. Because he was trying to still get money from me without any eviction notice, without any of that stuff, before I even had notice of all that stuff.
Miss Kelly.
Before I had notice of housing, of that being a single family, of anything.
Miss Kelly, I'm not talking about him.
I'm talking about why I stayed.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
I stayed because I had legal rights to still stay there, even though he tried to just
Your
give me
case
a
is
notice.
dismissed. The whole thing. To explain to you. No, you're not answering my question.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
Do me a favor. Button that button on your shirt.
Certainly. Yes, I actually
I'm not finished. The next one, too.
Wow.
Because this is not an audition for anything, Mr. Tanzi. This is a case that's going to be over very fast.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Tierra Kelly says former landlord Marvin Augustus owes for the return of rent and destroying her belongings. Marvin is countersuing for rent and for making false charges to the housing authority.
Now, if you live in a disgusting place that you
and I had nowhere to go, so I stayed.
You mean this is the only house in Los
Angeles?
Angeles?
That's the only place where I had
Your
to stay.
case is
where
dismissed.
I could pay money.
Now, your rent was $600 a month, and you lived there for 5 months. That's $3,000 that you didn't pay him. That's $3,000. You ate the steak.
And I overpaid him money.
No, you didn't overpay it. Not according to the County of Los Angeles.
Okay.
You owe him $3,000. Judgment on the counterclaim. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Well, the plaintiff
because he knew that he gave me too much, that I paid him too much money.
And extortionist.
He was perfectly fine with me living there until I did not give him $400, which he was getting.
And that she was just trying to get something for nothing.
She wasn't there at all, like in the picture ever around for 2 years that I lived there.
So I felt like my father was being taken advantage of.
She was never there for holidays. He was there by himself on holidays watching Judge Judy.
Why don't you leave if you're not happy here?
He's there by himself every day, all the time, but you know.
And she's upset because she can't sit in my dad's backyard and dance naked anymore.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Latin versus Tansey. Step forward.
Jennifer Latin is suing David Tansey for selling her a Prius with a lien on the title.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Tansey?
I'm a self-employed entrepreneur.
A self-employed?
So, I'm an entrepreneur.
What does that mean?
It means I try to find profitable business enterprises.
How do you support yourself?
Primarily right now through vacation rentals.
So you have rental property that you own or that you're an agent for?
I have rental.
Would you do me a favor? Button that button on your shirt. That's...
Certainly. Yes, I actually don't...
Because this is not an audition for anything, Mr. Tansey. This is a case that's going to be over very fast, because this is what happened. Mr. and Mrs. Latin were looking for a car for their son. They saw a car that you were advertising on Craigslist, and they came to look at the car. They liked it, and they negotiated a price with you. This was a car that you owned, but which had on it a title loan that you were taking out because I guess your entrepreneurship wasn't going so well, because those people who take out title loans on their car usually are desperate for money. So they negotiated a price with you, and they knew that the car had a title loan. Stop playing with your pen. They knew that the car had a title loan because you told them that you were going to take part of the money that they paid you and go to pay off the title loan. As a matter of fact, they even went to the bank with you at one point, and you gave them a receipt showing that you had, in fact, paid off the title loan. Well, then they went to the Department of Motor Vehicles, and the Department of Motor Vehicles initially said there's still a title loan on the car. Come back on Monday. Sometimes it takes a couple of days. Now, I may be doing a Reader's Digest version of this story, but this is the gist of it, and this is only a half-hour program.
Judge Judy continued.
So he had to take a title loan out on the car. Did you ever take out a title loan on your car? No. You ever take out a title loan on your car?
No.
Camera one, did you ever take out a title loan on your car?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jennifer Latin says David Tansey sold her a Prius with a lien on the title.
So what it seems, Mr. Tansey, is that you did, in fact, go to the bank with Mr. and Mrs. Latin and paid off the $1,401 that was left on the title loan. The only problem is because your business, this entrepreneur business-ship that you're involved in, is so lousy that you had bounced a couple of other checks that you wrote, and the bank paid those checks and then bounced the check to the title company so that the loan was never paid off. So they can't register the car. Well, now they come back to you and say, what happened? According to you, you say to them, you know, I gave you this car for a really good price. Why don't you just give it back to me, and I'll give you back your money because I can sell it to somebody else for more money. And according to you, they say, no, we love the car. We'll pay off your... That's what he says. And what you did actually was, you did pay off the title loan.
Yes, we did.
Using a...
credit card.
And what did Mr. Tansey say he was going to do about this title loan that you paid off so that you could now register the car that you had already given him how many thousands of dollars for?
$9,250.
In a cashier's check?
Correct.
Right. What did Mr. Tansey say to you when you agreed to pay off the credit card?
He said that he would be able to pay us back. He's a man of his word within 30 days. That's where my husband was with me at the bank, and that he's a man of his word. He has integrity. It's not going to be a problem.
Okay, so this is the man of integrity we're dealing with, and who's his integrity. He's an entrepreneur, and that's the way he makes his living. So he had to take a title loan out on the car. Do you and your husband both work?
Yes, we do.
And you have vehicles?
Correct.
Did you ever take out a title loan on your car?
No.
Did you ever take out a title loan on your car?
No.
You ever take out a title loan on your car?
No.
Camera one, did you ever take out a title loan on your car? Did he ever give you any money towards the title loan?
No, he didn't.
Right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by
.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, Mr. Tansey, clearly you understood that it was your responsibility to pay off the title loan because you went to the bank with Mr. and Mrs. Latin to show them that you were, in fact, paying off the title loan with the $9,000 that they gave you for the car. So you understood it was your responsibility.
That was, in fact, a courtesy.
No, listen to me. You understood that it was your responsibility, which is why you went to the bank with them to show them that you were paying it off. And you gave them, just a second, and you gave them the receipt, right? And you said in your answer, sir, that the problem was that some checks had bounced in your account.
Well, I'd like to clarify something
No,
first.
don't clarify. First, answer my question.
All right.
You said in your answer, which I read very carefully, that checks bounced in your account, which caused the check for the lien to bounce, which is why it was never cleared. That's what you said in your answer. Was that the truth or a lie?
That is what I was told from the bank.
That's what you were told, and that's what you believed.
Yes.
Then you understood that you had a responsibility, because you did pay it, that it was your responsibility to pay off the loan from the proceeds. Well, they're a very nice couple to the bank with you. You just felt like taking an afternoon ride with them to the bank? And so either one of two things, Mr. Tansey. Either you felt like taking a ride with Mr. and Mrs. Latin, you had nothing else to do.
They are very pleasant people.
Okay, $1,401.
And she agreed
It's
to
not
pick
an
me up.
audition. Get him out of here.
You are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Well, the ad said clean, which means no lien. If it says clean, it doesn't mean salvaged.
And then there's a title with a lien. She understood it had a lien. She signed a bill of sale knowing it had a lien.
I would have never even answered the ad if it had a lien on it.
Bill of sale, it said the lien is